Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John Luke Garofalo and Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, boys?
Arrivederci.
What's up, my dude?
Arrivederci.
Hey, oi, hey.
Oi.
Welcome in.
Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show.
That
Somehow we
was
turned
good.
Australian.
I
I think we started Australian. That was our intention the entire time. Is what we were doing right there.
No, you're Australian.
What?
No European. No European. We got Tommy in the chat saying, morning, boys. Good
Morning,
Tommy.
partner.
Welcome in.
Hey, Tomo.
Rest of the show.
Hey, Tomo.
The Bamo. What's up, my
We
man?
got some meatballs.
Hey. We also got Craig in the chat says, good morning. Russ cooked us a nice first course last night and then served up some week old Chuck E. Cheese pizza the rest of the night. Eh?
He cheesed us.
Toss that bad boy in the trash.
Yeah.
He cheesed us. I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna have to eat the tomato because of that, dude. Can you imagine?
What's the
Can you
tomato
imagine?
bet? And have you already lost it, or is it an ongoing thing?
It's ongoing with Tommy in the chat getting the game. It's whoever's the better record, Raiders versus Broncos. He has the Raiders, I have the Broncos. Loser eats a tomato on the show like a hand fruit, which I made that bet.
Hand fruit.
Which I made like an apple, right? I made that bet knowing that I don't like tomatoes. Turns out that Tommy also loves tomatoes. So it's like not even a tough bet. For him. He was going to eat a tomato anyway, dude. So phenomenal. Great situation for me to be in.
I'm going to start throwing hand fruit into the hey, can you pass me that hand fruit?
Yeah.
Just like it's a little less descriptive. I don't know what's in the kitchen. I just want a hand fruit.
You say it when you can see the bowl of fruit and there's a bunch of different ones and they're like, which one? And you're like, doesn't matter. Just dealer's choice, banana, apple, right? Right. Put her right.
Anything that fits this bad boy.
Put her right there.
Chucks a coconut at me. I got to palm that thing. It's still a hand fruit. Coconut's a hand fruit if you're a
your
man.
hand's a little too small, so it just falls.
Is coconut a hand fruit? I only date men where coconut's a hand fruit for them. It's the first question. If coconut's not a hand fruit for you, swipe left, baby. You can't handle all of this, man. If you can't,
he's measuring from like left pinky to right pinky.
You ask JJ Watt for a hand fruit, and he just cracks a watermelon in half, and he's like, "Here you go. Here's your half."
Jail's mine. You're saying perfect way to start the day with some good old fashioned hand fruit talk. 100%.
Hand fruit chatter.
And Tommy, you're saying why is it
Hey,
called an orange, but a banana not called a yellow? Probably because that's stupid. I don't have an answer for orange is called an orange, but I know why a banana's not called a yellow. It's because that's.
Think they just name everything for their colors, Tommy?
I mean, they're not always yellow though; they're green for a bit. But I guess so are orange. Can you pass me that green for a bit?
You're tossing me that green hand
slightly
fruit.
green.
Yeah. What's your favorite fruit? Green to yellow.
Give me a not quite yellow.
First green, then yellow. Yeah, well, that's my favorite fruit.
Before we get into the news, what's your favorite type of apple? Like not just fruit, but your favorite variety of apple.
Everyone defaults to Granny Smith, but
that's the right answer.
Is it the best one?
Yes, I know Simon's gonna say freaking honey.
I'll tell you right now, dude. One of them is a
golden apple's your favorite.
Complete lie and misdirection, and that's that one, Red Delicious, which is
that's
not
stupid.
Delicious.
That one's dumb.
It is red though.
The outside,
so grainy,
the skin is like a wrapper. Like it's like there's a wrapper on your fruit, and you're just expected to eat it, or you're not an adult. Like if you like eat around the peel of a red apple, you're like a little child. But it's also
so much worse than a green apple for some reason.
It's terrible. Like it's just thick and gross. It's disgusting. Tommy, I take back when I called you Tomo the Bombo. That is not cool to bring up human skin in the chat. It is very different on an apple. Golden Delicious is the best apple. It's soft,
honey
sweet,
crisp,
and delicious. Honey crisp. Oh, and you said I was going to say something like honeydew, JL.
What's yours? What's your favorite?
Honey crisp.
Honey crisp. I see. I knew it.
You knew someone was going to say honeydew something.
No, I knew we've had this conversation. I remember you talking about honeydew.
I've never revealed. I've never revealed.
Mine's not honey crisp. Coop is honey crisp. Golden Delicious.
Oh, that was the second one I said.
That was the second one you said. You immediately were like, "Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I knew it was honey crisp."
Yeah.
Guys, we had some news go down in the NFL last night. Besides just the Chargers beating the Broncos in Monday Night Football. Steelers benched Mitch Trubisky after confrontation with teammate. Per report, this comes from SportsIllustrated.com, but we're seeing that Deontay Johnson might be the reason why Trubisky was initially benched. Trubisky and Johnson reportedly got into a heated confrontation in the locker room during halftime of the Jets game. The receiver apparently yelled at the quarterback to throw him more passes, and this came after Johnson missed a pass in the first half, resulting in an interception, and stepped out of bounds during a potential touchdown play. Trubisky then told Johnson his concerns, and the conversation got out of hand. Neither player has publicly spoken about the situation. But that could have led to the decision-making process that could have led to Trubisky's maybe earlier exit than we anticipated this season.
Yeah, that's what they're implying, I think. It is pretty interesting. I can't imagine that like Deontay Johnson throwing a hissy fit is what benched Trubisky, but maybe.
When I think about these coaches, like there's a scale of like on one end you have like the players coaches that are just like, the like Pete Carroll, I would put it all the way at one end of the scale as like he's such a gum chewing, butt slapping, player friendly guy. And then the far end is Bill Belichick, who's just like if you're late for Jonas Gray scores 4 touchdowns.
Basically a pillow.
Yeah. Jonas Gray scores 4 touchdowns. He's late for a meeting, he's cut. Right. On that scale, Mike Tomlin skews closer to Pete Carroll for me. So I'm not surprised to see him side with one of the players. I've seen him one time. They were playing the Jaguars and there was legit, like they just got a first down. All they do is kneel the football and the game was over. And it was still a 1-score game. And he had them throw a pass to Antonio Brown, who, ran for a couple yards. And then the very next play they kneeled it. And they asked him about that. And he said that Antonio Brown had some like personal record of like 4 catches and 30 yards in like every game. And he wanted to make sure he got that. So he literally put the game on the line when he didn't have to for a player. So to me, when I hear, his star wide receiver wants the quarterback benched, I don't think it's that crazy for that to be factored in. Just saying.
Maybe.
Yeah, I doubt it was the only thing, right? Like they must have been close in making that decision already anyway. So like I'm with both you guys. Like it doesn't seem like this is what's going to bench Mitch Trubisky, but it could be the final piece leading to Mitchell Trubisky's benching. Like this could be why he's benched finally, not why he's not benched. Tommy has a theory. Says Deontay Johnson called him Trubisky. Yeah, I have heard that as well, Tommy. You can call me that all you want, though, guys, if you want. I kind of like the ring of it.
All right, Trubisky, what else you got for news?
That's it. Just keep calling me that for the next 3 hours and see how much I giggle.
Milky Trubisky.
So much more disrespectful for some
like
reason. I don't know why.
Like we're just bullying Mitch Trubisky on air now is what's going on.
But in that instance, I was calling you that because you asked us.
Oh, you were bullying me using his name.
That's why I said. That's why I said. What else you got for news, Milky?
Well, here's what else I got for news. Rams Sean McVay says the team is looking to trade running back Cam Akers. To nobody's surprise, but he confirmed to reporters on Monday that the team has already begun exploring trade possibilities involving Cam Akers amid his ongoing rift with the club. The disgruntled running back was announced as a late week scratch due to personal reasons just 2 days prior to the LA home matchup against the Panthers. Ian Rappaport later reported on Sunday that the 23-year-old Akers was at odds with McVay over philosophical and football-related differences. It could end up being moved prior to the November 1st deadline for the right value. And this is coming to us from Sports Illustrated, this report. For some reason, I know the philosophical differences are still probably related to football. Like they're probably like football philosophical reasons, not like he's a deontologist and I'm a utilitarian. Like that's how I like to imagine it though. It's like Cam Akers is like, I live by the philosophy of deontology and it just really doesn't line up with the utilitarian Sean McVay.
they're just getting real deep in that locker room.
Yeah,
like
100%.
That's what it ended up being. Everybody else on the team was like, we gotta get this guy out of here, dude. He's read.
It's so boring.
He's read way too much Freud. We gotta move him. So I mean, I don't know. This is a new era that we live in where you can just ask to be traded, and then the teams are like, okay. It never used to be like that, but it seems like these guys get granted those deals. Like AJ Brown got moved because he wanted to be DeAndre Hopkins. So if Cam Akers wants out, he'll probably get moved, but I doubt anyone's going to give more than a sixth or a seventh for him, because that's what Robbie Anderson trade was, right?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be too much for Cam Akers. I'm with you. Do you think he has any potential value if he goes to another team? Like, are there any landing spots where you're like, ooh?
Buffalo? No, honestly, that would just
so
be
he can be
so
Devin
annoying.
Singletary's backup.
That would be the most annoying situation.
Wherever he goes, he's just going to hurt the value of everyone else, honestly. That seems to be the case.
I'm trying to think of like a spot where I'm like, hell yeah, and I can't think of a single one. Maybe Miami, he gets some work. I'm not sure. Goes over there to Miami. He could see some work. It's Mostert and Mostert there right now. They're not really giving Chase Edmonds much on Mostert, attorneys at law.
The best case scenario is you just wait for someone to get injured and then he goes there. I mean, like, look at the Broncos last night. Latavius Murray just took over that entire backfield seemingly out of nowhere. So because Javonte Williams gone and they needed to do something. So I think they might have to wait for that, but that's probably the best case where, if somebody goes down, they grab Cam Akers. Now new life, new team.
New life, new team. Yesterday, Steve Wilkes was quoted as saying Baker Mayfield has to earn the Panthers QB job when healthy, this via ESPN. But he doesn't simply plan to give Baker Mayfield the starting quarterback job when he recovers from a left ankle sprain that kept him from playing in Sunday's 24-10 loss to the LA Rams. When asked if Mayfield would be a starter when healthy, he said, I can't give you that answer. But I can tell you right now, those guys in the quarterback room are going to compete at that position just as well as other positions due to see who exactly goes out there on Sunday. PJ Walker said he'll be ready to practice on Wednesday, even though he wasn't able to finish Sunday's game in LA because of a fourth quarter neck injury. And Sam Darnold should come off injured reserve on Wednesday after missing the first 6 games of the season. So we'll see a Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, Baker Mayfield, good old-fashioned quarterback battle down in Carolina.
Peach, bro.
Yo.
Hop on the Peach train.
Peach. Jump on that
Peach. Hop
on that
Leaving the station.
I mean, that just tells me that he was close to being benched before he got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you don't lose your job to injury. So look out, Baker. He was also the worst team. He's also the worst quarterback in the league based on just about every metric. So not super surprising, honestly.
I mean, besides the metric of like heart and chip on your shoulder, right? Like Baker Mayfield, just if you're in a points per heart league, he's got you covered. At least
points per headband.
If you're in a points per mildly humorous commercial league, then he's kind of been one of the best in the league for a couple of years now. But those days could be coming to an end.
Could be coming to an end. I really wish they would have done like a move out episode, or like they're trying to get him out of the stadium. Like that would have been so much more fun.
He pitched it to Progressive to do a moving out with Baker Mayfield episode when all that stuff was going down with Cleveland, and they said no.
Like it would have been so funny if they would have like evicted him in an episode.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
pitching. That's
a commercial with him being evicted from the stadium would be so funny.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity there.
They probably just didn't want to pay for the rights to Billy Joel moving out, right?
That's true. That's probably what stopped the idea in this crowd.
Moving out. No.
What are we gonna do? We need Billy Joel in this one.
Baker's like that's pivotal to the script. We're not doing it without Joel. That's gonna get us DMC'd on YouTube right there.
Wait a minute.
You took it too far.
Too many yaks.
I recognize that yak anywhere. Craig in here saying, Keith, get HR on the line. We need some inclusiveness and sensitivity training today, specifically around people named Mitchell Trubisky, I think is what he's talking about. We need some Mitchell Trubisky sensitivity training today. Yeah, well, that's probably a class that we should all take at some point. I'm not too sensitive to Mitchell Trubisky. Maybe I should be, though. He's a human. He's absolutely a human, right?
Fact.
Do we know?
I mean, I'm assuming. he did get benched, and there's lots of humans who didn't get benched. So do with that what you will. Do with that what you will.
Baker, possibly one.
Possibly an alien as well. Aaron Rodgers wants to simplify the offense, but Matt LaFleur doesn't know what that means per Pro Football Talk. After Sunday's 27-10 home loss to the New York Giants 1 week, to the New York Jets 1 week after losing to the New York Giants, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers called for the team to simplify some things on offense. LaFleur said, "I don't know what that means. We've got to put our guys in better positions. Just communication from top down and then out on the field, has got to be better. We've got to get everybody on the same page." I love that he said, "What?" He said, "Excuse me." like that was his answer. Like, huh? Like simpler. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what a dismissive like that's the kind of answer. If someone said that to me after I said something to them, I would be like, "You weren't even listening to me. That just shows that you didn't hear a single word I said," is how I would respond to that.
It doesn't. I'm pretty sure that Aaron Rodgers just forces them to run in this offense. I remember reading about this last season. Like LaFleur, I feel like is just putting up with Aaron Rodgers. It's the fact that he's there. It's just like he's stuck. He's stuck with Aaron Rodgers. What are you gonna do? You're gonna let the Hall of Famer walk? That's not gonna be good.
Can't do it.
Then you got to deal with this giant baby man.
My thought process on that is that, like, in the offseason, he kept talking about how, like, the rookies were struggling to not only catch on, but actually catch the ball. And now with these playing with the rookies that are playing like every snap, he's probably like, okay, like let's get rid of some of these concepts and just like say like run a post, because sometimes the playbooks can be complicated. So he's trying to make it more simple for guys like Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. That's my only thought. Unless he's trying to like bring it back to be like, let's, instead of running, trips right over Oki, 253 7X, he's trying to be like, let's run, like power left on go. Like, I'm just not sure like what he exactly wants to do there. Like, does he have his own playbook, you think, like JL says?
I think that's true. I think that's a true story. I think he has his own playbook that he runs. I'm going to find the story right now.
That would be so awesome. He just shows up with these like hand-bound notebooks. There's like written in like crayon on the front, Aaron's plays. And it's literally just like one play where he just like, he runs around and to find.
I'm imagining all hand drawn.
And like but like on the play, there's like all the X's and O's, but then there's a drawing of like this wicked strong dude where the quarterback should be, just like with like big muscles. He's like, here's the playbook.
And he's going over the routes with one of the guys. Like Dobbs is like, how am I supposed to get from here to here? And Roger's like, oh, that's easy. You just phase shift. I came up with this one while I was tripping on ayahuasca. He's like, yeah, you just get to this point, phase out of existence, and then you phase back into existence in the end zone, and I'll hit you. No problem.
All the plays are just like him being drawn wicked strong, and then a bunch of dotted lines to the end zone, and then another drawing of him doing the discount double check. Like, that's the playbook.
Maria says he has a burn book Mean Girl style. Without a doubt, Aaron Rodgers has a burn book Mean Girl style.
I see Swansea Sea Snakes in the chat. That's my buddy Nick. He says red 80. Dude, so my buddy Nick for a brief time played tight end. And this kid was a moose on defense, but we put him at tight end one game, and we had this audible. If I saw something, I could just say red 80 or white 80. Red was the right tight end, white was the left tight end, and all it meant is the tight end would just scream right down the field, and I could just dump it off to him. So like if teams had like two wide safeties and the middle of the field was wide open, we would call that. So like I get him out there for once, Nick's out there, and I go red 80. What? Dude, I literally didn't even take a step back. Took the ball. He just got right behind the linebackers. I dumped it to him. Went for a 70-yard touchdown. Dude, one of the kids on the line, one of the guards, didn't hear the call and took like 3 steps. Ineligible man downfield. They had to bring it all the way back. So my buddy Nick is, it's high school. So he's all the way at the other end of the end zone, like, doing his dance and stuff. And then we're like, nah, dude. That was we actually lost 5 yards on that. Would you come back down here, please? red 80. Yeah, heartbreak is right, dude. Like, that play never worked. It was literally
I would have never walked all the way back. I would have stepped off the sideline after sprinting 70 yards. Like, I'm screaming 70 yards down the field. There ain't no way I'm getting back in time for that play to be called. Like, there's a play clock.
He just subbed out and never came back in. Yeah. But and the thing that sucks is it was one of our buddies, Zach Devlin, who's a big supporter of mine on Twitter and stuff. And he was heartbroken over it too, dude. But it was just tough, man, because Nicky.
Zach, just know Nick and Coop will never forgive you if you're watching this.
I forgive
on a daily basis.
I forgive him. Nick definitely does not. There's no question.
Scott Fishing, you're saying my son lost by 0.3 as the second highest scorer in his league yesterday. No. Said learn some valuable lessons. Trusted the Twitter polls over his gut. He started known over Tunyon and McKenzie over Juju. So Knox over Tunyon and McKenzie over Juju. 2 flips that cost him. I don't think he ever trusts Twitter again. Yeah, that one's brutal. Yeah. When you change it because of something somebody else said and then your gut was right, that one hurts. That is a painful feeling.
Yeah, and it's
much easier to live with the decision when it was yours, right? Like whenever you're sitting there going like, that was my gut. Like that's fine. That was my gut. Then whenever you're like, I went against my gut and I trusted JL and then I was wrong.
Then you're wrong.
That's painful, man. Scott, I meant what I said on Twitter yesterday. I will be rage dropping Melvin Gordon in every league where I have him in honor of Ian because he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that.
No, that was absolutely brutal what they did in that game yesterday. If you started Melvin Gordon, Dennis in here says tried to research when Jameson Williams will be activated. Didn't find any good information. Is there anything you all know about it?
Yes, Edwin Porras is one of my favorites. And when it comes to that stuff, the timelines. So they're saying that the timeline was always that he would do the slow ramp up, which is what Edwin thought that they would do for Gallup and Chris Godwin. And then instead they decided to just get him in there as soon as possible. But that means that the plan was for any time after the bye week is what they were shooting for. So I would keep an eye out for him to potentially be activated soon. Once they activate him from the IR, he has basically 3 games to be added to the full roster, or he'll be or then he has to go back to the IR for the rest of the year. So they're probably going to take it slow. But as soon as he comes off the IR, I would expect him to play within a game or 2 of that.
And Scott in here saying Jameson has been running routes in practice. They wanted to take it easy though. So good sign. Good signs for Jameson Williams. You guys excited for Jameson Williams to come back? You think he's fantasy relevant?
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and Jameson, super talented wide receiver. I had stashed him in a few leagues. I think Scott Fishbowl might still have him on my bench. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he does.
My take on that player from the start was in my opinion, he was the best wide receiver in college, right? And if a team is willing to take a shot on that guy, then who am I to say that their doctors are wrong and his doctors and all these doctors are wrong when I'm just sitting home, Googling stuff. You know what I mean? So when they traded up to take him in the first half of the first round, I was sold already. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to rock and roll. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be DJ Chark at split end, Jameson at flanker, and Amon-Ra at slot. And that's going to be a pretty good set of wideouts for that team.
Yep. Coop, I'm with you. And I love the point you made. Like, do those team doctors make mistakes? Like, people always like to point out, like, well, they were wrong. Yeah, of course. But they're going to make way fewer than I would trying to diagnose these problems. Like, their years and years of experience are going to make them experts in the area. Trust the experts on certain things. You don't have to be the detective figuring out if Jameson Williams' injury was too bad to get drafted. It's a great point, Coop.
The surgery had already been done. So it's not a situation where like they had to go in blind. Like the surgery had been done and he had been recovering. So at that point, you kind of know if there's nerve damage. If other tendons were injured, right? So like at that stage, if they're willing to make that commitment at that point, then I'm in, baby. So Jameson Williams, wheels up.
Wheels up. We got Lucius in the chat saying good morning. What's up, Lucius? Welcome.
Morning,
Glad
Lucius.
to have you here. You guys, we had some more news. The Cardinals trade for
Oi.
Lucius. Welcome in.
Lucius.
Grab a roast steak and let's sit down. That's what they eat, right?
JL's English accent this morning is getting dangerously close to go plunder the high seas. Like you were getting dangerous. I'm not saying you're out at sea, dude, but you definitely have made it over.
But I'm dipping my toes in.
You've made it over to the docks, dude. No question.
He's just helping me prep for the Renaissance Festival this weekend. It is Pirate Weekend at the Renaissance Festival. And oh boy, do I have a pirate outfit ready to go. I am so excited.
Can we get a little preview on Friday's show?
Yeah, I'll wear my pirate outfit on Friday.
You wear your pirate outfit. I'll wear an outfit too.
Okay, perfect.
It's just a normal outfit.
Yeah, just a regular t-shirt.
I'll wear an outfit. Yeah. Well, no, Coop, you have to wear no outfit on Friday.
Well, JL's already going to be wearing. JL's going to be wearing no outfit, so that was the negotiation.
Ooh, okay. I'm even more excited now.
My bathing suit.
Milky Trubilky coming on in with no outfit on.
Net and all.
None.
It's a net and all.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of your no outfit. No outfit.
My bathing suit.
Oh, there we go. Cardinals trade for Panthers Robbie Anderson after Marquise Brown was hurt. So the Arizona Cardinals acquired wide receiver Robbie Anderson on Monday, a day after wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown suffered a foot injury that will sideline him indefinitely. Sources told Schefter that the Panthers will receive a 2024 sixth-round pick and a 2025 seventh-rounder for Robbie. That happened fast.
Yeah.
Robbie's mad. Oh, he's not here anymore. They solved that problem. Whoever's fault it was, it's not a problem anymore, right? Like if it's Robbie Anderson, if it was the coaches, it doesn't matter because now he's in Arizona.
Well, the more I take a step back and look at it, like Robbie Anderson was only there because of Matt Rule. Matt Rule coached Robbie Anderson in college at Temple. And one of the first things he did was say, I'm going to go get my boy Robbie. And then once Matt Rule's gone, Robbie just like, I don't have any friends here anymore. You know what I mean? It was like Matt Rule and Sam Darnold were his boys. So, he gets moved. And that kind of stinks because Zach Ertz has been good because he's been the second target on the team behind Marquise Brown. Then Marquise Brown goes down right in time for DeAndre Hopkins to come back. Feeling pretty good about that situation because Ertz could still be the second target on the team. Now they bring in Robbie Anderson. Just a slight annoyance, in my opinion.
Yeah, Rondale Moore he is looking good. He's getting the targets, so I think he could step up, fill in that position a bit. I'll definitely take away some stuff from Ertz. But I tweeted about it yesterday. Marquise Brown going down, it creates significant opportunity, and so we could see these guys become more fantasy relevant than they've been. Rondale Moore, Nuke, Ertz so far in the season. Marquise Brown, 64 targets, which is fourth amongst all running backs. 26.3% target share, which is 17th amongst running backs, and 43 receptions. 43 receptions, fifth amongst wide receivers. I kept reading wide receivers and just saying running backs. Fifth amongst wide receivers. So he's been killing it. The opportunity has been there for Marquise Brown. Where's he going to go?
Yeah. And I think
he's going to go, Coop.
Broken foot, dude. So I think you're right. Rondale Moore now probably moves into that Marquise Brown role, and maybe Greg Dortch gets his old role he was playing.
Storch.
Scott Storch. So he gets back in there where he was playing before. Because Greg Dortch, man, like talk about a dude that went out there, played his buns off, and then they immediately were just like, "Hey, remember when you were playing 70 snaps a game? How about 4? How's that sound?" Like that's basically what they said to him. Like so, pretty rude, but he kind of is a handcuff wide receiver, and now he might get that shot back a little bit.
So your job is safe either way. Would you rather in the NFL play 70 snaps a game or 4 snaps a game?
So the real question, that boils down to contract. Like if I'm Greg Dortch, I want to play because I need a second contract. But if I'm Kenny Golladay, rich.
I'm never playing again.
He's already rich, dude. All he has to do is they can't even cut him, dude, because they lose money if they cut him. It's insane.
Didn't Matt Rule get a huge payout even though he's not going to be coaching?
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna buy so many cargo shorts.
He's gonna land a sick college job as well. Like honestly, getting fired for Matt Rule is almost a net positive because this horrible, stressful situation's out for under him. He got a huge buyout and he's gonna land a sick college job, which he's good at. Right. Like he is a great college coach. So he got fired from a job he's bad at. He's gonna go into probably the best available college job is probably going to go after Matt Rule this offseason or during the season to bring him in. And he's going to get a sick contract with them. Dude, it was a great thing. He probably celebrated the day the Panthers fired him that was done and he got the payout. And maybe he was a little sad. Probably sucks to fail to try something and just completely fail at it, but he's getting a nice payout.
I'll tell you what, dude, you put enough of that college football money on that pain and it all goes away. Look at Nick Saban, dude. Nobody even remembers that he was a terrible coach for the Dolphins.
Dude, he does those Aflac commercials and nobody makes fun of him for him.
Yeah, he's the man.
He just does it. He's fucking caking, bro, all the time.
I want Nick Saban
if you
to
asked
do
him
the
about it now,
Affleck
he'd probably be
Dolphins.
like, "What?" He probably doesn't even remember. He's like, "I've been too busy to remember any of that." Don't worry.
Who, the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Now he remembers. After losing to Tennessee this weekend, all the pain is flooding back in. He hasn't felt pain like that since he was in the NFL, and he's laying in bed at night going, "Those damn Volunteers." It's like I was coaching the Dolphins again. Like, and it's just coming back to him when he was a coach of a bad team over there.
It's just funny, the transition across the board for like think about like Mac Jones. Like him coming to the NFL, like he was throwing to Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle and like had the best offensive line of all time. And then he has to come to the NFL and throw to like Jacoby Myers. Like it's, sometimes it's just easier to stay in college.
That's like when I think about Taj Boyd, like I was convinced he was a great quarterback. Then I'm like, man, he wasn't a great quarterback. He was literally just throwing to DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, Martavis Bryant, right. Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries was his fourth wide receiver. Know what I mean? He had 4 NFL caliber wide receivers that he was chucking the ball to. That's insane. Insane. And lo and behold, he didn't work out in the NFL. That didn't last very long. He was like a 6th round pick to the Jets and then cut. Washington Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz has surgery on his finger. So he underwent surgery Monday in Los Angeles to repair a fractured finger in his throwing hand. The team said in a statement, he was informed by doctors that he's looking at a 4-week recovery timeline. Sources told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. So Carson Wentz out for 4 weeks is what it's looking like after that hand surgery.
The red riffle on his ass again.
The red riffle. Is he switching teams?
Taylor Heineke. Is he another red riffle?
He's red riffle too.
Oh, the good news is I was sitting on a Taylor Heineke NFT card on that stupid DraftKings thing that I was able to sell for like $200. Definitely trying to liquidate all those cards now. Great news for me.
Taylor Heineke looks like a Kirk Cousins impersonator. Like not quite like Kirk Cousins, but like if he put on a Vikings jersey, he could show up at a kid's birthday party and be like, "Hey, it's me, Minnesota Vikings quarterback, Kirk Cousins."
Yeah, I feel like he could do a much better Jay Cutler than Kirk Cousins.
This picture I'm looking at definitely he looks more like microwaved Ryan Tannehill than the one I got.
What does that mean?
If you saw the picture that I'm looking at, dude, you know exactly what it means.
Taylor Heineke balled a little bit last year. Like he wasn't terrible all of last season. There were questions about whether he could be the long-term starter here in Washington. You guys think we get anything good out of Taylor Heineke? Is this bad news for the receiving options there?
I think it's gonna. As always is the case with these backups coming in, it's going to be good news for like 1, maybe 2 of them, because these guys usually come in and pick their favorite guy, like Noah Brown with Cooper Rush. Wheels up. Like he'll probably come in and pick somebody. It'll probably be Curtis Samuel will probably get 15 targets a game just because he runs the short routes, But I don't think it'll be a bad across the board, especially because Carson Wentz wasn't playing that good anyway.
Yeah, it's not like Carson Wentz was Josh Allen out there on the football field. I almost said Tom Brady, but that offense hasn't been looking too great either so far. But they'll get it together. They'll get it together.
Trust.
Guys, coming up, we're going to be breaking down this Monday Night Football game that we all watched last night. And then we've got a waiver wire bracket to work through and some fantasy feud a little bit later on the show. And then Teresa Walker, beat reporter for the Tennessee Titans with the Associated Press Pro Football, is going to join the show a little bit later as well today. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
It's sports talk done better.
Coop, we did have a question for you. Get into Game wants to ask if you could create an all tight end team. Like, who would be your top tight ends, like your favorite guys that you would put on your all tight end team?
Or does he want me to do an all tight end team where I fill out all the positions? Because I could do that.
That could work as well. Yeah, you want to do that?
So a wide receiver 1, split end would be Kyle Pitts.
Checks out. I knew you were going to say Kyle Pitts.
Now on the other side, I would have Jimmy Graham.
Okay. At
the actual tight end slot, inline tight end, I'd have Rob Gronkowski.
Okay.
In the slot, I would have Tony Gonzalez, who under Chan Gailey for the Chiefs back in mid 2010s, he led the league in routes run from the slot. Now at quarterback, I would have Logan Thomas, a converted quarterback that now plays tight end. Right at running back, give me Jonnu Smith, a guy that has multiple rushing touchdowns. He could bring it up and down the field. At left tackle, give me Michael Pruitt, one of the premier blocking tight ends in the league. At right tackle, give me Nick Boyle.
Are you done this all off the top of your head?
Of course. At guard,
so
we're gonna fill out the line with the best blocking tight ends that I can think of. So actually at center, give me a guy that's been a captain on a team because you need a strong, smart player at center. Give me
leadership.
Mercedes Lewis, a guy that's been in the league for a long time, one of the premier blockers. At guard, you're gonna want a little speed, a little heft. So I'll take a current guy, Albert Akwe-Bunam. I'll put him 6'6", 260. Put him at left guard. Have him do some swing routes. Have him run around. At right guard, I'll take. Give me Jason Witten. Just give me a big monster to throw in.
Get him out of the booth.
Throw down the run blocking. And
can we put this in like a graphic?
As my fullback move tight end, I'm going to go with a guy that's played a bunch of fullback. He's played a bunch of move tight end. Very underrated. Give me Chris Cooley, former Redskins tight end, move tight end, Chris Cooley. So that would be my all-time tight end offense. If you need
now radio personality.
I am
in the DMV.
I am so impressed. Not just like you didn't just pull out those names and you didn't stop after the positional guys. You said we're talking O-line here too because that's an important part of the offense. Coop, I could not put together a better all tight end team right now.
Now put a full depth chart together.
You'd be insane to do it.
Punter.
I feel like a maniac just having done that. But
who's the punter and who's kicking field goals?
Punter easily is going to be Algie Crumpler because right off the top of my head,
I've ever heard.
Kind of sounds like punter. Seems like he could boot the ball.
Crumpler the punter.
Crumpler punter. And then for kicker, we just want to have as many all-time greats on the roster. So give me Antonio Gates.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to talk some Monday Night Football, Broncos at Chargers. Before we do that, though, we had a question come in here from Dennis in the chat. He wanted to know, is Ayuk worth a waiver claim? Could drop Garrett Wilson, Michael Thomas, also Boyd, Robbie Anderson, and Rondell Moore are all available. Who are your favorite two wide receivers moving forward? He's letting us know he's thin at wide receiver after Chase Lamb, and I have only Devonta Smith and Lazard. So of those guys, who would you be picking up? There's Ayuk, Robbie Anderson, Boyd, Rondell Moore, and the guys on his bench are Garrett Wilson and Michael Thomas. Would you be dropping either of those guys for the people on the waiver wire?
Unfortunately for the time being, Garrett Wilson just isn't playing a full snap share. Did he get banged up this week? Or because most weeks he plays
not that I saw.
Yeah, most weeks he plays like 60-70% of the snaps. This week he played about half. He played like 20, even less than half, really, 24 out of 55. With those type of wide receivers on waivers, there's some pretty good players on there. I would only be rostering the highest upside options. So for me, at least, Ayuk plays every snap virtually. He plays more snaps than Debo because Debo will like get a carry then come out of the game. So Ayuk actually has played more snaps than Debo. So I'm going with that guy first. So I would drop Garrett Wilson for Ayuk.
I'm with you. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, it sucks dropping Garrett Wilson. In most leagues, you're not going to, but it looks like this waiver wire is pretty deep, and you got limited players you can drop. Drop Garrett Wilson for Ayuk in my mind. What about you, JL?
Yeah, Ayuk's got a 21.7% target share in this offense. He's second most highest target share in the offense next to Debo. That's what you want. That's what you want is that second option in an offense. That's huge.
Absolutely. Guys, this Broncos versus Chargers game last night, a real overtime barn burner. Nothing but offense in this one.
Barn burner.
A real barn burner in this one.
Barn.
And it was not a barn burner. When this went to overtime, I was just like, come on, just end it, please. It's fun watching football, but sometimes you get to a point in the game where you're like, okay, I've seen it. I know what's happening in this game. I was a little bit shocked it didn't end in a tie, but that's what happened when special teams plays get messed up there at the end of the game. We got Tommy in the chat saying Broncos D so different with Simmons in there. Yeah, the Broncos defense looked for real last night. Both these team defenses stepped up, right? It was a pretty good game on that front for both of them. Russell Wilson tricked us a little bit in that first half. For a minute there, it looked like Russell was back. I was sitting there thinking, oh, is this the game? Like, is this the time? Russell Wilson, they're making it click, and then they're like, nah, we're just messing with you.
He started with 10 for 10. Did it go even beyond that? He was pretty hot there, but yeah, I don't know.
10 for 10, and then he completed 5 more passes the rest of the game. 15 for 28.
Throwing a lot of balls to open space, really, really open space where there's plenty of room to hit the ground.
Absolutely. And but that one touchdown pass that he did throw went to a guy. I know it made myself happy. I know it made Coop happy. Greg Dulcich with the touchdown in his NFL debut, turned 3 targets into 2 receptions for 44 yards and that beautiful 39-yard touchdown to Dulcich. Coop, is this the coming out party? Is Dulcich here to stay?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, I sent a couple tweets out this offseason with the Dulcich hype. One of them basically was just suggesting that if I'm the tight end coach, I like Greg Dulcich, they drafted him. Are you going to have the 6'6", 260-pound Albert O play the inline role to block? Or are you going to have the 6'4", 248-pound Greg Dulcich converted wide receiver stand to block, right? In this case, what happens is Albert O doesn't even play at all, and Eric Saubert and Eric Tomlinson play that inline role. So looks like Greg Dulcich he's the guy that's going to be playing the slot, playing that like move tight end role. And that's pretty much exactly what Alan Lazard did in the Packers offense for Nathaniel Hackett. And Alan Lazard might not be super exciting, but if you could start Alan Lazard at tight end, where would you rank him?
High.
So that's pretty much this. I'm hoping that's the situation we have here. He played 71% of the snaps in his first game out, which is promising. So I think he's got to be a guy you got to add in wherever you can find him. So, but we're going to hit that when we get to the waiver wire bracket coming up in a little bit. But I'm pretty excited about this Dulcich guy. He also has amazing hair, so earns a bunch of points there.
Yo, he's got he's got a little bit of the Weird Al look rocking, and he kills it. He's like sexy Weird Al. Sorry, sexier Weird Al. I didn't want to insult our friend Al over there. But man, that was hot. That's probably the loudest I've screamed for a play so far this year. And I know it wasn't much, but that was a player I loved coming in. Like, I was excited about him. I drafted him in all my rookie drafts, and to see him come back first game and get that highlight touchdown out there on the football field was beautiful. It was exciting. Not much else success on the Broncos side of the ball. With Devontae Williams out, we assumed it's the Melvin Gordon show. They brought in Latavius Murray. And then yesterday, even though Melvin Gordon played, I know he was banged up. He only saw 3 carries for 8 yards, while Latavius Murray saw 15 carries for 66 yards. It looked like it was because maybe Melvin Gordon was banged up, but then they kept cutting to him on the sidelines. And man, did his facial expressions and his demeanor show something besides I'm injured and the coaches have me on the sideline, right? Like, he looked like he got benched and he was pissed about it, is what it looked like. You guys think he got benched, or was this just an injury thing?
I have no idea.
Melvin, I don't know, dude. He did not look happy. That's for sure.
No. Yeah. I think it's impossible to tell until we get some more information here.
Right. And for you, unfortunately. But if he did get benched, dude, he should be reaching out to pulling a Robbie Anderson, Cam Akers here and trying to find a new place to
get traded to the Cardinals.
Ball. Yeah. Just everybody go to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, but do the Broncos really trade him? Like, look at their running back depth. Like, do they really trade Melvin Gordon and leave themselves with Latavius Murray and Mike Boone? Like, even if Melvin Gordon's pissed and doesn't want to play for them, like, that just
scrap the season. You know, scrap the season, sell off parts. Call it a day.
Call it a day. I mean, it just seems like this is a team that shouldn't scrap the season either with the pieces they have. I know they've looked bad, but like, they have an elite level defense. It looks like their defense looks fantastic. They've got a Hall of Fame quarterback who's playing like absolute doo-doo right now. And then they've got 2 top tier wide receivers and the tight end of the future, the next Travis Kelce.
I've got 1,000.
I
got a quote here, a Melvin Gordon quote that is very sad. If you guys are ready for that, if you want to start your morning with something like that, Melvin Gordon told NFL Network's Bridget Condon following the loss, "I'm not gonna lie, it hurt a little today watching it. You know, the Chargers threw up a little clown emoji on my face on the video board, and I noticed it all. It sucked. It sucked knowing that I wasn't able to do anything about it. Go out there and help my team win. Going into overtime, sitting watching the whole game, knowing that I could be out there, So that kind of hurt, but that's part of it. What don't kill you makes you stronger mentally. So he was not, he was outright benched, and the Chargers were throwing clown emojis on his face, which is actually kind of funny.
That is kind of funny, but messed up.
Yeah. It's messed up. So you realize the guy's like a multimillionaire, but still, the clown emojis are kind of mean, but also kind of funny.
Kind of funny. It's an imposing fan base. What do you expect them to do? But man, that is sad. That I get it.
Not why you gotta go after the guy who's on the sideline. Like, go after a guy who's like on the field.
Right. Yeah.
So the clown emoji on Russ's face.
Do it to Russ. Yeah. When do it. I was gonna say do it to Russ when Russ throws a pick, but you can actually do it to Russ at any time.
every time he throws it in a wide open space.
The picture of Russ holding that sub with the banana peppers up there, and just put the clown emoji on his face, or put like the banana pepper sub with like the way too hot emoji over his face. Like, you can do anything with Russell Wilson, really.
Yeah, brutal. Every time that Russell Wilson, like Mr. Unlimited video comes up on my timeline, I can't not watch it, and it makes me so upset every time I watch it. Every time I have to hear him go, unlimited, like so hokey. And then like at the end, he's just, it's a hard video to watch.
Dude, Scott Fish making a point that I didn't even really consider is that the Chargers were the team he played for like his whole career. And then they're out here putting clown emojis on his face. That is pretty rude.
Nasty. Yeah, that's rude. Absolutely rude. Revenge game benching. That hurts for Melvin Gordon. I feel for the dude. That's got to suck to sit there and watch it and feel like, I hate that feeling of like, there's nothing I can do about this and it's going to have a negative impact on me. That's like the most stressful feeling. And it explains his face on the sideline, right? That quote explains all of it. He was unhappy on the sideline all night. On the other side of the ball for the Chargers, Justin Herbert going 37 for 57 for 238 yards, didn't throw a single touchdown, but had an interception. Was this just Herbert playing against a top-tier pass defense? Is that what happened tonight or last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just wasn't fully connecting. Like, he was slinging the ball at times. It looked good. I just don't think they turn into touchdowns.
Yeah, he's bagged up. Williams. He's missing Keenan Allen. This is
Derwin James there.
We're not seeing like the peak of what this guy is.
No, I agree with you. And although he threw the ball 57 times, Mike Williams only saw 6 targets in yesterday's game. Was not heavily targeted. Only turned it into 2 receptions for 17 yards. And man, it felt like at times they really could use some more Mike Williams targets. Like, they should have almost been forcing him the ball to open that up. Like, dude makes crazy catches. Doesn't matter if he's covered. You can throw it up there. He'll climb the ladder to go try to get whatever you chuck his way.
Dumb, Simon. It's so dumb that they don't use him, because whenever they use him, they win. But now they're just not using him again. It's so stupid.
They did have that. He did have that one pass that bounced right off his face.
That is true.
Well, listen.
Who hasn't had a pass?
If I had a nickel for every time I had balls bounce off my face, I'd be rich.
Yeah, at least one nickel, I know.
You'd have as much money as Melvin Gordon, dude. Your face would be destroyed, dude.
How much would it take to take an NFL punt to the face? Like, where you just put your face above the ball, like above the tee. NFL punter just comes up and kicks it full force.
Dude, your nose is gone.
Medical bills are covered.
Yeah.
Like, so it's additional money on top of that.
I don't know, man. I blocked a punt once.
Medical bills can't cover replacing your nose.
I mean, you're going to be ugly the rest of your life, probably. Like, it's probably not going to go well.
Whether you get kicked in the face or not.
Dude. I blocked a punt once, and that hurts real bad.
You're handsome.
You have to. It would depend how cold it is out. If it's real cold, dude, I don't think it's any amount of money there. I could take that.
But if it's real cold, then maybe you go numb and it doesn't even hurt anymore. You can just go full numb. The blood freezes on the way out, so you don't even have to worry about losing too much blood. You're good to go. Craig said $1. Oh, I thought he said $1. He said 1 million with medical bills. I already look like junk. For being honest, I think I'd do it for $10,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say we play this game, but once we're out in the field and that money's there, like, it really would depend if they had the money there. Like,
if someone pulled out $1,000 in cash, I probably would do it. Like, if someone said $1,000 in cash, handed me 10 $100 bills, and I looked at them like, I'm taking that punt to the face, no questions asked.
8 Bud Lights first.
Listen, we have the FanDuel connection.
$50.
I think if we pulled every single string that we own, we could maybe get Pat McAfee to punt a ball into your face, Simon. I think we could do it.
Yeah, but the part I'm more worried about is the $1,000. Where are we getting that from? Like, I'm not doing it for free. I'm not just taking a Pat McAfee punt to the face.
I'm pretty sure Pat McAfee could raise $1,000 to punt a ball into your face. I'm pretty sure
if it's Pat McAfee, I want 10K. I want 10K.
The dude farts and makes $10,000.
I was gonna say, you could raise $1,000 by speaking into a microphone for, I don't know,
half a second. Yeah. There you go, $10,000. There you
go. So, all right, let's make that happen.
Just has to say hand fruit one time, and then all of a sudden, he's made $10,000.
Make it happen, Keith.
Tommy's saying that's how he starts his day every morning, with a punt to the face. Man, sounds great. Your kids sound great, Tommy. Mike Williams only got 6 targets. Austin Eckler got 16 targets yesterday. 16 targets, turning into 10 receptions for 47 yards. This feels like the game that kind of breaks those rankings for the rest of the season, like running back targets. Like whenever we saw Najee Harris get 19 in a game last year, it was just it was just broken the rest of the season. Like it didn't matter how many targets he got, as long as he was getting a decent amount, like that average volume. He was just sitting there at the top rest of the season as far as running back targets go. That's nuts. You love seeing a running back get 16 targets, though. Like if you started Austin Eckler, congratulations. He's been killing it the past couple weeks.
He's back, baby.
He's back. And he did have the lone touchdown on the ground for the Chargers, 14 carries, only 36 yards, but got that touchdown. And that makes it what, like 6 touchdowns in the last 3 games, right? Like I think that's his 6th touchdown in the past 3 weeks. He's killing it. He's absolutely killing it. You're happy if you've got Austin Eckler. Is there any value in Sony Michel? He was out there on the field a little bit yesterday, 8 carries, 28 yards, no touchdowns.
No interest.
Man, it's absurd to me. Like when I look at the numbers and I don't look at the score, like just like, oh, he threw the ball 57 times. Holy shit, Eckler got 16 targets, 12 to Palmer. It's like, how many points did they score? And then it's like, oh, 19. They had 1 touchdown.
Football be like that sometimes. It's like when I look at the 49ers yesterday or on Sunday, I looked at that one and I was like, this is perfect. 10 targets for all the players, but they lost by double digits. It's like, I like the game script. I like the box score more than the result on that one.
Absolutely. Did you guys? It was hard watching Dustin Hopkins kick those field goals though. Like, dude was hurting. I kept one. Like,
did you guys watch the interview with him after the game?
No, I did not. I went straight to
weird. It was so weird. I'm just like I like to just finish up whatever I'm doing while I'm watching the post game interviews, and I'm just sitting there working, and then I just look up because I'm just hearing his like intro with the reporter. He just like stops her. She asked him a question about his like injury, and he stops. He goes, "Hold on, stop you here." He's like, "I just want to say thank you to my Lord Savior Jesus Christ," and that's how he starts off the interview, is by like not answering her question and just going into that. And then the whole rest of the interview was just odd. It was just like weird, but I was so like fascinated by it.
He watched hundreds of hours of Heisman acceptance speeches to prepare for that moment, just in case he was ever interviewed on the field. And that was his first line. He had it practice. It was like the scripted first 10 plays for Russell Wilson, like Scott brought up. He just had it scripted.
Whoa, like, don't get ahead of yourself.
He's like, I don't care what you ask me. I've got my line, and I got to say it. Say my line. Say your line.
You got to stop them before they ask you something where it becomes weird for you to say what you said.
My injury's fine, by the way.
Then you end up being like Mike Tyson, where they're like, they like asked him like, how did you train for this fight? And he just went off on like a rant about Allah. And then the guy was like, so the training. And he's like, yeah.
That's
like,
what it was like. He talked for a bit in the interview, and then he's like, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I was feeling a little hurt out there. So it was really funny. Go back and watch
different sports have like different cliches. I feel like the way he started that is very typical in football. But then if you watch golf and they like interview someone afterwards, it's always like, yeah, the greens were fast today. Hit some birdies when I needed to. Hit some solid putts. It was a great day out there on the course. Like they'll say the same thing every time. Is like the course is a little fast today. Hit some great putts. It was a great day out there.
Yeah, and then NASCAR, it's like NASCAR. They're like, first of all, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Mountain Dew and Cheetos and Frito-Lay and gasoline and fracking
and Clorox
bleach. And then and then also the car handled real well. Thanks.
I want to go to a NASCAR race live. I've tried watching NASCAR on TV because I had friends that were into it. I couldn't get into it, but I want to go to an actual event because it seems chaotic. It seems like a lot of fun.
It is a blast, man. But honestly, the race itself is the worst part of a NASCAR weekend. The best part is the Saturday before, where you're just like grilling burgers and throwing the frisbee around and just like camping. And then the morning you wake up and it's like, just the same thing, except now you're in a parking lot. And then you go in the race and you're like, oh, like, can we go back in the parking lot and throw the ball around?
You're like, I get it. They're going left.
Yeah, it is a blast, dude. That's definitely do one of those because it is so much fun.
Tommy had a suggestion in the chat. He said, let's have Pat McAfee punt a ball into my face for charity. Half the money goes to charity, half goes to me. So we can raise money for a charity of Pat's choice. He gets to punt the ball into my face. I feel like we need to consult
a doctor. Like maybe we need to get Edwin Porras on here to tell us like how deadly could this be?
No doctor is going to be like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, we know what they're going to say. That's not a good play. They're going to be like,
the moment you consult a doctor, that's getting shut down.
You know what?
Like
did you guys always like
Hamilton.
hear when you were a kid? Did you hear the rumors like make sure you like don't hit someone's nose up like that? Like if you hit your nose straight up, like if you fall, protect your nose because if it breaks the wrong way, it's going to go into your brain and kill you. Did you ever hear that like urban legend growing up? I don't know if it's real.
I'm pretty sure
that's
the
whole cross your eyes; they'll stay stuck like that.
Well, that one's true. That one's 100% true, JL. And if you sit too close to the TV, you're going to go blind. That one's also 100% true. You got to sit further back or your eyes are going to just fall out of your head.
Hate when that happens.
We got Work and Grind in here. Hal, what's up, Hal? He said the infield. Is that NASCAR?
That's NASCAR. Yeah.
That's
Never been
NASCAR,
down on the infield.
baby.
Never been on the infield, but been in the bleachers. So
I'm going to be honest, guys. I've never even thought about going to a NASCAR event.
Till now.
Now you're thinking about it. We're all going to go. Front Yard Fantasy takes over NASCAR live from the track for your
we should do that like Billy on the Street style and just go and ask questions, which we like. Well, clearly we have no idea what we're talking about.
You got to get a lot of answers about Trump, dude.
What kind of tires you got in this car?
What's the closest track to you, Simon? Have you ever even considered that?
The closest track to me is that one that they race on. I don't know. I think there's an F1 track in Austin, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't think there's I don't know about a NASCAR track near me.
Probably.
I have not looked it up. Also, Scott Fish.
The NASCAR one's in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. That's about 5-6 hours for me. Depends on traffic.
Not close.
Depends on how much you get held up in Waco. Waco's a disaster to drive through.
Your state's so crazy because when you talk about 5-6 hours driving for me, you're like 4 states away.
Yo, that was like when I lived in Atlanta, I could get to like 4 different states in less than 3 hours. Like I could get to Florida, I could get to Alabama, I could get to South Carolina, we could get to North Carolina, Tennessee. And then I moved to Texas and like we were planning a weekend trip at one point, and I start looking at a map and typing things in. And I'm like, we got to drive 8 hours any direction just to leave the state. Like it doesn't matter. You're just driving forever and ever and ever, and you're still in Texas.
It's like Virginia.
And ever.
When I moved to Texas, I remember hitting the border and I was like, oh, thank God I'm almost there. And then 10 hours later, I was still driving. Like it was like over halfway of the drive was just getting through Texas. Jay, and you're saying I've been to Charlotte for the All-Star race twice. That was absolutely fun.
Jay would totally fit in a NASCAR environment.
The cool thing about the All-Star race is it's all just the same racers who race in the regular race.
It's just the same thing. They just call it the All-Star race.
Yeah. It's that they just like cut out like a couple of the scrubs from the end, but it's like literally just the same dudes that race every single week. Like it's not like the NFL where you're like bringing all these players from. It's like literally the same dudes that race against each other every time. Yeah,
that's funny.
Every week it's the same dudes that race against each other. Is it not?
Yeah. How do you don't make like an all-star team, I guess. It's not really everyone's driving their own car. Tommy said, I've managed to get immersed in every sport. I don't get NASCAR. Cannot watch it. I don't know what it is about the TV that I have. We have a Samsung Smart TV, and sometimes when we turn it on, it's randomly on some like weird digital cable channel that comes with the TV, and it's always the most bizarre racing. It'll be like these 3-wheeled giant go-karts in mud with big skid flaps, and they're like, we're entering lap 47 of the Phoenix 500 double mud flap race of the century. And like, I'm like, who's watching this? Like, this is on TV for someone.
Of course, dude. The funny cars. Those things are pretty wild.
So Work and Grind saying small track racing is how you fall in love with racing. Maybe I need to watch more of these channels. I need to get a little bit more of that.
You got to get out there to your local track, bro. Once we go to like the local track near us where they do like the most ridiculous things, like demo derby and like figure 8 races. But what they do this thing where you're allowed to bring your own car and do like drag races versus like other people. Yeah, like
That's
people
a
will
terrible idea.
That's you know what they do? They just take like the front quarter panel off their car and put a different one on just for that day. But dude, one time I saw 2 dudes legit get out of the car and have a fist fight on the track. But it was like banked like this, so it was all sloppy and they were falling down. Dude, I just remember I was sitting there and I'm watching these 2 dudes fist fight, dude, beer in my hand. And I look to my left and there's this little kid who's like 12 years old who, this is 4th of July weekend, 12-year-old kid, dude, who has like a full mustache. And this kid looks at me and he just goes, America. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Watching two civilians have a fist fight on the racetrack. One of them still has his helmet on. Just like
America. Welcome.
America. Yeah.
I just looked up this kid. So there was a kid on my wrestling team who was like really into racing in high school. He raced like stock cars in high school, the smaller ones. And I Googled him. Dude races in the NASCAR Truck Series now. He made it. He did it. He's Kyle Plott is his name. I don't know if he's still, but he made it to the NASCAR Truck Series. And this was a dude on my wrestling team in high school. Kyle.
How long have we been talking about NASCAR?
I'm proud of you, man.
High level, dude. That's a high level of racing, man. That's like the third. The truck races are like the 3rd highest level, really.
Tommy's in way too long. JL just whispers, how long have we been talking about NASCAR? Tommy comes in with the response in the chat.
Like I just blacked out for 15 minutes.
We did have a question in the chat. Charles wanted to know, is it worth keeping Kareem Hunt on my bench? JL, what do you got for Charles? Should he be keeping Kareem Hunt on his bench?
Yeah, keep Kareem Hunt on your bench. They will continue to work him in. This offense.
Kareem Hunt belongs on your bench, hey?
On your bench.
Valuable your lineup most weeks, but bye weeks are coming up. You're gonna have to play him sometime. I'm almost positive about
it. All right. Completed the metamorphosis into the Australian accent.
Rise up lights.
Coming up, we're gonna be talking about some waiver wire ads that you got to be making in week 7. Then we'll be playing some Fantasy Feud as well. And then Teresa Walker, beat reporter for the Tennessee Titans, is coming on. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing, chop to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Burley picks a perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the impounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up at him. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side. Has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season. The 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the bank, and you're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Better Sports Network.
Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Week 6 is in the books, which means it's time for some Week 7 waiver wire action. We're going to hit the waiver wire bracket. Before we do that, though, I see Cameron in the chat saying we want Swift back this week, please. Yeah, if you're a Swift manager, you are desperately hoping for DeAndre Swift back. You think we see him on the field this week? You think the Lions are going to take it extra cautious with Swift?
I hope they take it cautious. I think that would be the smart move for them to wait until after the bye week to work Swift back into it. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see what Dan Campbell does, man.
Dude, I just, in my mind, once you get through the bye week, everyone is just completely healthy, right? Like that. I feel like that's how it works. Now that they have
it's like a video game where you get it's like you hit the base or
it's your Dungeons and Dragons long rest. Like they're able to take short rests, restore some of their spells in between games, but they hit that long rest and get all their spell slots and HP back during that
we
week
know what
off.
that is.
I was gonna go equally. Maybe not as nerdy, but in the same neighborhood, saying the Poké Center, where just like the screen blinks a little bit and then they're 100% fully healthy. So I think that's what I saw. I don't know. You said something.
Do you guys know the lore behind Nurse Joy at the Pokemon centers?
I feel like we talked about it before.
You guys have talked about that before.
They're not the same person, but they are all identical relatives. Like they're all related. They're all named Joy, and they all look exactly the same. So they are like in like Pokemon canon, they are all exactly related, but they look exactly the same with the exact same
clones?
Name. No, they're like cousins or sisters or like they're truly.
Where are all their parents at?
They're related. I think some of them are parents with other Joys on the way to replace them.
That's
we got a real weird situation going on.
That's easily the laziest way to deal with that.
Like it just took the minimal amount of effort to one Serena.
This one's Tracy.
I feel like half of them are already named Serena. Though.
They're all
the other half are named something like that.
I don't know. Name them all Joy. Like, oh shit, we forgot to name the nurse in this episode. Wasn't it Joy in the last one? Yeah, we'll just keep rolling with that. We'll just keep on rolling.
That's like you get an answer you get on like from an annoyed writer on a Star Trek panel. Yeah, these dudes keep asking annoying questions, and you're like, they're all just named Joy. Next question.
You happy? Stop asking me.
Well, why do they all look the same? I don't know. They're freaking related or something.
The answer's magic. Next question. A wizard did it. Next question, please.
Isn't that the best when like there's a world where 10-year-olds travel around with monsters, and the thing that we're questioning is why all the nurses have the same name and look the same. Like we're not questioning that he has a little mouse that shocks a literal rock snake into submission. Where we're questioning the nurses having the same name and looking the same. Like that's too far, man.
Yeah, indentured servitude farm of little critters that he has on a computer, and we're just like, how come they have the same name?
Change their name.
Fighting critters that he keeps inside a computer somehow. We're just like, but they have the same name.
I feel like my favorite part about Pokemon is how some Pokemon are like crazy and fantastical, and then some of them are like a crab. Like that's
like a keychain.
It's like Pidgey.
Keychain.
Pidgey's just a pigeon, dude.
Just a pigeon. It grows into a bigger pigeon, but it is just a pigeon.
They didn't even change the name to something like Pikachu or anything. They're just like, that's pigeon.
Or Ekans is literally a snake, and his name is just snake backwards. Like as a Pokemon, he's just a snake, and then the name backwards is snake.
It's all the early ones, Rat-a-tat. They're like, this one's rat, and they're like, you can't name it rat, and the guy's like, Rat-a-tat.
Rat-a-tat.
We got one,
guys. We're doing a Pokemon waiver wire bracket this week. Just kidding. We're going to talk actual waiver wire players. We've got 8 players that we're going to be talking about, 2 from each fantasy relevant position. Unless you're an IDP guy, those guys are relevant to you, but we're not going to be doing an IDP bracket today. Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. The 8 players we're going to be talking about are Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyquan Thornton. And at the quarterback position, we've got Marcus Mariota and Bailey Zappi. At tight end, we've got Greg Dulcich and Daniel Bellinger. And then at running back, we've got Kenyon Drake and Rashad White. Hal wants to know, before we get into this, are all animals in Pokemon? Are there animals in Pokemon that are not Pokemon? They eat meat. I'm not sure. That's a great question, Hal. Like, are animals just Pokemon related?
I think they're all Pokemon.
I feel like I'm having a weird memory of seeing other animals in Pokemon, and I can't. But I think you're right, Jail. But for some reason, I can't confidently say no to that one. We'll start looking that one up while we get our bracket underway. The first matchup, battle of the rookie wide receivers. We've got Wan'Dale Robinson versus Tyquan Thornton. JL, which of these 2 rookie wide receivers are you prioritizing on the waiver wire this week?
Oh man, this is tough. I liked both of these guys. I've been talking them up this week. Rondale Moore, I think I would have said Rondale Moore before Robbie Anderson.
Rondale Moore's not one of the options. Wan'Dale Robinson or Tyquan Thornton.
The other little Wan'Dale type guy. Rondales, and they're similar players. So I get the mistake there.
Yeah, this is probably just a case of me being dumb. I'm gonna go with Tyquan Thornton here. Wan'Dale Robinson looks good in the touchdown he got. I'm excited for him. Both these guys are rookies who are really just getting their start now, but are showing a ton of promise. Tyquan Thornton, to me, has this immense upside. If they're able to unlock him in this offense, he could be the guy in that Patriots offense, which really hasn't been that great for fantasy, but I could see it funneling through one guy. We've seen that in the past work.
I mean, he's got that speed. He's got that speed that none of the other receivers on that team have. Ran a 4.2 840 at the combine. Lit the world on fire. Thought it was a 4.21. That was the unofficial time. And then still 4.28, one of the fastest times ever recorded at the combine, even after they corrected it.
Are you happy seeing it, Coop? As a Patriots fan, was it promising to see him come out and play like this?
It's the Patriots situation is like, it's always a roller coaster of emotion, because it's like, this week I was happy, but just when they draft these guys, like, they always seem to draft these dudes oftentimes from weird schools and way above where they're supposed to. Like, that's how the Patriots work. My dad is fully on board though with all of it. Like, on the morning of my wedding, my dad was wearing a UT Chattanooga shirt, which is where the first round pick Cole Strange was picked from UT Chattanooga, and Sean McVay famously was like, "Oh, look at that, UT Chattanooga in the first round," like making fun of the Patriots. But he's playing great. So I'm on board with Tyquan Thornton. And for me, there's no homerism in this, because I look at it and I see that Tyquan Thornton played 40 snaps and Wan'Dale Robinson played 15. So for me, I'm going with Thornton. I think he also plays a role that translates better to getting more snaps and playing early. Rondale Moore really struggled because of his size in trying to block guys for Arizona, and that's why his snaps were limited. And I think Wan'Dale Robinson might have a bit of the same issue. He played 15 snaps, 12 were pass plays, but they were kind of taking him out of the game whenever they were even in any situation to possibly run it. That means a lot of times those guys are out of the game in the red area, and touchdowns are huge for guys that are playing partial snap shares. So give me Tyquan Thornton. Scored 2 touchdowns this week, 1 rushing. I'm in.
I'm gonna be on the other side here. I'm gonna go with Wan'Dale Robinson. I know he played limited snaps, but he is a rookie coming off of an injury in his first game back. And what I saw in a limited workload was promising enough to me that if that goes up, I'm excited for Wan'Dale. They've been looking for that guy in the offense, and there's a chance Wan'Dale Robinson becomes their go-to wide receiver. So I like Tyquan Thornton. This isn't an anti-Tyquan Thornton take. I want both these guys on my bench, but I have to pick one. It's going to be Wan'Dale. But that doesn't matter, because Tyquan Thornton's moving on to the next round in this bracket.
I like Nick's question in here. Nick came in the FYF chat, says Thornton or Claypool? What do you think, Coop?
That's interesting, because Claypool's another guy that gets carries from time to time as well. And also, like Claypool, I think it's that question to me boils down to how far away from your starting lineup these guys are. Like, if you start 3 wide receivers and you're talking about your wide receiver 4, who you're going to need to use during bye weeks, I'd rather have Claypool. But if we're talking about just a bench stash for the most possible upside, I would go with Tyquan Thornton. Lean into the unknown. Uncertainty is your friend with like your wide receiver 6 or 7. Try and catch that lightning in a bottle, because we've already seen Claypool. He's okay.
He's okay.
But he's more trustworthy right now, I would say, for sure. Tyquan Thornton could come out next week and play 15 snaps and have 1 catch. It's within the range of outcomes. We know Claypool is going to play his usual snap share. Do you guys have any differing thoughts on that?
Oh my God, Simon froze. I was like, why isn't he talking?
Oh, okay. I was like, geez, dude, pretty stoic.
No, I agree with you. Claypool is interesting. I'm not gonna take what he did this past week on 6 targets and extrapolate this is going to be life going ahead, especially since we don't know what this QB situation is when Kenny Pickett gets back. So no, I'm with the Coop. Jay coming in asking a question here. Would Sutton and Najee for CD be enough, or should I offer Higgins and Najee instead for CD Lamb? What do you think about this, Coop?
I would try and get away with Sutton, but I don't think Sutton and Higgins are that far off. Like Sutton has been the go-to guy over there, and he was looking very good at the start of the year. There's a group of guys like Sutton, Higgins, Tyler Lockett that you can count on them to start in your lineup. Every once in a while, they might put up a rough week, but I trust them. I trust either one equally. So if my thoughts are try and go Sutton and Najee. If he won't do it, then go Higgins. I don't think it's a big enough difference for you to just care. I would get the trade done.
I wouldn't do this trade. I don't think this makes your team that much better. I see Higgins and CeeDee Lamb on. I don't see them too far apart. And so to me, this is just a Najee difference, and just in my opinion, just throwing them away, which is fine. I just think it's probably more likely that you're going to get value out of Najee before the season's over. He'll be a higher value than he is now. And also, I think, I don't know, Sutton just hasn't been consistent enough for me. He's a tier below T Higgins for sure.
I'm more in line with Coop here. CeeDee Lamb is a tier above these guys for me, above these receivers. I want CeeDee Lamb on my teams, and I'm probably going to be willing to make this move. This is enough to move on from a disappointing Najee so far, and I don't mind giving up one of those receivers to get him back. Rendon had another question for us. He said thoughts on Kirk and Curtis Samuel moving forward. So Christian Kirk and Curtis Samuel, 2 guys that have outperformed expectations so far, but also disappeared in certain weeks. Haven't been great. We've got a new quarterback, at least for the next 4 weeks, for Curtis Samuel. Trevor Lawrence still going to be slinging the ball to Kirk. How do you guys view these players rest of season?
Yeah, we know what Curtis Samuel is. Like, he's much more valuable in full PPR than any other format, just because even when he gets peppered with targets, he's not like a high ADOT guy. And, I don't know how many targets this guy needs to get to crack 100 yards, but he's already had multiple games with double-digit targets, and he hasn't. But I think he's fairly safe. This is his first kind of mediocre week. Most weeks he's been pretty good. Whereas Christian Kirk has had a couple down weeks. If I could trade Christian Kirk with people that just look at the fantasy points scored based on the touchdown this week, I would try and do that while he still has value.
Absolutely. Jay in here letting us know he's got Pierce, CMC, Kenneth Walker, and James Conner, so he's good without Najee. Yeah, that makes it even more of a do that trade for me with Pierce, CMC, and Walker alone.
Does that change your thoughts at all, Jay? Or you think he could? Would you think that he could take Najee and Sutton and get something better than CeeDee Lamb?
I think he can get something better than CeeDee Lamb. And Cortland Sutton, I'm fine with that trade. More so than the T Higgins one. The T Higgins, because there's a massive, in my opinion, there's a gap between Sutton and T Higgins. So that makes the trade a little bit too rich for my blood. Sutton and Najee, I think you could probably still get someone better than CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know. It's going to depend on your league, right? Your league mates, whoever has CeeDee Lamb, if they're going to be willing to trade them, what their sentiment on Sutton and Najee are. Yeah.
I think for you to do that, you have to believe JL's right to a certain degree. Like, if you think that CeeDee Lamb is just going to be the CeeDee Lamb he is now when Dak Prescott returns, then you don't do the trade. But if you truly believe that Dak Prescott elevates CeeDee Lamb to another level, then do the trade.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next round of our bracket right here. We've got the quarterbacks up next. Marcus Mariota versus Bailey Zappi. Coop, which one of these 2 quarterbacks would you be picking up on the waiver wire this week?
As much as I love Bailey Zappi,
Zap Master,
mega superstar. He's played 2 games against the Lions. Like Bears and Lions.
It's the Bears on Monday next week.
Which so he'll probably have another good week. But it's hard to say that Mac Jones couldn't have done what he did, and it's hard to say that Mac Jones won't be the starter when he comes back. At least with Mariota, he's a starter, and that he runs the ball. He's actually been running the ball pretty well. Had a rushing touchdown this week, but he's had, I think, he had a first week. He had like 12 carries. So I got to go Mariota here. Especially if it's a situation where you're gonna, you might have to start the guy within the next week or so, for bye weeks, or if it's a 2-quarterback league, Mariota's a guy.
Hey, he's averaging like 7 attempts a game, rushing attempts. Marcus Mariota, that's pretty wild.
Pretty quietly, right? Like we didn't really notice he was doing it until he scored this week. But then
3
you go
rushing
back
touchdowns in the season.
50 rushing yards this week, 61 rushing yards last week. Like he's getting some work on the ground, especially the past couple of weeks.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
It
was like the first week I got really excited about it because he had the 12 carry game. I was like, this is nice. This is what we like to see. And then like he kind of fell off for a couple games there, but now he's back at it. Can't go away from guys like that. Too good a floor with that rushing.
House at 7 passes and 7 rushes. Go Marcus. Hey, well, I think it was like 14 or 15 pass attempts, but dude gets you 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground. You can't be too mad about however many passes he's throwing. But I'm with you. It's Marcus Mariota for me. He's got that rushing floor. He's one of the more likely quarterbacks to punch one in on the ground. And then who knows? He could add you 1 or 2 through the air. Like that's a nice floor for a quarterback that you're picking up off the waiver wire.
He's a QB1 right now. I'll say it.
I'll say it. I'm not afraid.
I'll say it, dude. I can say it confidently because he's ranked QB number 12.
Say it unconfidently.
Which is a QB1. Yeah, he could be a QB1, I guess.
Jail, are you going Marcus Mariota as well? Or are you going to give some to the Zapster?
No, I agree with what Coop said.
I was hoping you guys would go with Zappy so I could be like, nah, I want that Zappy the whole time. Let's go.
Zap Master.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm not going Zappy. I don't see the super high ceiling for him. Like you said, Mac Jones coming back. At least Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is like averaging more points per week anyway. So it seems to me to have a higher floor and probably a higher ceiling.
Higher floor and higher ceiling over there.
He's in the clouds right now.
It's true.
Just absolutely floating right now. We had a question in here from Nick. So Marcus Mariota is going to move on, but Nick wants to know, who do you think I could target for Darrell Henderson and Michael Thomas packaged together? You throw together Darrell Henderson and Michael Thomas. Coop, is there anything you're trying to target with those 2 players, or you think it's going to be difficult getting a trade done with those guys right now?
Well, you got to let us know, RB or wide receiver. I mean, that's tough because both those guys aren't like, everyone's going to know what you're doing, right? Like everyone knows that you're taking 2 guys from your bench that you're not using, and you're just going to like package them up for anything. That's one that we would need to consult Alex trade chart.
That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the one from last week. It's going to change, but for half PPR, Darrell Henderson sitting at a value of 7.5, Michael Thomas at 13. That puts us at around 20.5. You're probably gonna have to take a discount because that says you could get Kenneth Walker, and that's not happening.
Right.
I imagine that Kenneth Walker's value raised. I imagine that Darrell Henderson's value gets raised this week as well with the whole
Ezekiel Elliott. Would you do it for Zeke? Would you trade Darrell Henderson and Michael Thomas for Zeke? Like, I don't think so, but I think that's the tier of player you're looking at. Chris Olave, Keenan Allen. Like, would you do it for either of those guys?
Like, I don't know if you really want to trade Darrell Henderson with Cam Akers kind of trying to shoot his way out of town and not playing. Like,
you're not going to get the value. Yeah. Like
you're not going to get the value back.
No one's going to pay the price like higher than just the value you're probably going to get out of him this season. Listen, I tried the same thing last season with Darrell Henderson in Dynasty. I tried trading him away. People just aren't buying into it. Whatever reason it is, they see right through Darrell Henderson. They know it's a trap.
He's not a salesman, is what's going on.
I think it is. I think it is a marketing thing.
Darrell Henderson needs a better publicist. That's what he needs.
Yeah.
Let's get Darrell Henderson some better representation in the media. He needs people out there hyping him up, getting people gassed up so that we can make successful Darrell Henderson trades.
Yeah. Skyfish said matchup tool updated. Hell yeah.
Time.
Let's go.
My favorite comment of the week now.
Before we move into this next one, we're going a little bit deeper with the tight ends. Cameron had a question about some tight ends that are sitting on his waiver wire right now. Wants to know if he should start Gesicki, Hunter Henry, or Robert Tonyan this upcoming week. Gesicki's target share, snap share have been trending in the right direction, but Robert Tonyan coming off the big game, 12 targets. Coop, Mr. Tight End, the tight end tickler, where are you going here?
So I know Gesicki has been Robert. Gesicki has been trending up a little bit, but they ran a ton of plays. So like he did, get 50 snaps, which is the most he's had all year, but they ran almost 80. So he's still not really playing a full snap share. I would go with Hunter Henry with Bailey Zappi versus the Bears. Like Hunter Henry's been much more involved. He played pretty much every snap the last 2 weeks. Like he played the week before. He played. Here, I don't have to say it off the top of my head. I can actually look it up. It's right here. Hunter Henry played 59 of 60 snaps in week 5. Yesterday or on Sunday, he played 68 of 70. So literally over the last 2 weeks, he's only missed 3 snaps. He's out there every single play. And Bailey Zappi likes him, found him for a touchdown. That's who I'm going with here. Robert Tonyan still, even with the production this week, didn't play a full snap share, didn't even play like 60% of the snaps. So we've seen, him have a couple good games. We've also seen him have some pretty bad games. So 46 to 73 snaps. I trust Hunter Henry most out of that crew if it's just a 1 week fill-in versus the Bears.
I've gotten Robert Tonyan wrong every week so far this season in Scott Fishbowl on when to start him, when not to start him. I just do it wrong every time. I put him on the bench when I should, and I put him in. It's been a disaster with my decision making around Robert. One Robert Tonyan on my bench as he has a big game.
When else did he have a big game? That one time he caught a random touchdown versus the Patriots. Like he caught 2 passes in that game. One was a touchdown. What was the other big game?
And I didn't start him then, and I didn't start him this week. Okay, and
I'm not going to start him next week, Coop. Stop yelling.
Don't start him. How dare you?
Start Robert Tonyan from Coupe Fiasco. It's his favorite player, especially over Hunter Henry. You heard it here first.
Bobby Tunnels.
Clip it.
Let's talk some deeper tight ends now that might be sitting on your waiver wire. We've got Greg Dulcich versus Daniel Bellinger. Some more rookies on this waiver wire right here. JL.
No.
The tight end Tinkler. Which tight end are you taking? Are you taking Greg Dulcich or are you taking Daniel Bellinger off the waiver wire?
Oh, Bellinger. I told Coop about Bellinger. I told him who he was. Because I told me who he was. And Coop's like, no, Bellinger stinks. Bellinger. Now look at Bellinger, 11.3% target share. Coop.
Wow, 11.
I mean, he was the target leader this week, but he only got 5 targets.
But
they just threw it 4 times to everyone.
Yeah, we'll give you credit on that. He's a rookie. They brought him along slow, so he wasn't running enough routes. He wasn't playing enough snaps. But this week, 60 of 64, ran 28 of 34 routes, blocked on 4 pass plays, but 4 of 32, not bad. We can deal with that. So Daniel Bellinger definitely moving up a little bit for me, man. But the question is Bellinger or Dulcich, JL?
That is the question. And I'm giving you a hard time about the Bellinger stuff, but you're absolutely right. Dulcich, I would like to see some more of him last night. To me, both these guys are sort of late round throws. They're both going to be firmly in that tight end glob for the foreseeable future. So it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Pick whichever one you want. I would probably go Bellinger just because
that's a great point, Joe.
I would go Bellinger because of their lack of options. I think that would be the tiebreaker for me in that offense. But Dulcich is certainly more talented, in my opinion.
JL, you just did it, dude. You just tight end tinkled that the whole.
I tinkled the heck out of that.
Man. You did, and I'm with you.
It's a long, winding road, but we got there.
The tiebreaker is that last part, the last point you made, which is that if I had to sit down, if we have the 3 of us had to sit down and predict who was going to get the most targets on these teams moving forward, we wouldn't have Dulcich. We wouldn't have him ahead of Jerry Jeudy. We wouldn't have him ahead of Cortland Sutton, would we? But with Daniel Bellinger, it's like Darius Slayton, Marcus Johnson, and Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't see why he can't be a top 2 target on that team. And that's one of the biggest indicators of high-end upside. So give me Bellinger here. As much hype as we have on the guy with the mustache and the hair. And Simon, you can go ahead and pick your baby because I know you will.
Oh, yeah. I don't care. You guys make great points. It's Greg Dulcich. Sometimes talent just transcends situation. And we're looking at the coming out party for the best hair in the NFL right now. And Greg Dulcich is going to be a menace. Hair. I mean, he's up there, right? He's got to be an instant candidate for best hair in the NFL.
Just having a lot of hair does not put you in the upper echelon of hair.
You're saying that, not me. His hair is quality as well, JL. It is beautiful. It is luscious.
Man, he looks like Miss Frizzle on a rainy day.
Man, I don't know what kind of rainy days you're seeing.
There's no way he's got better hair than Richie James, dude. Richie James looks like a different type of spider every week. pull up some pictures of
Richie James does have some pretty good hair, but I like I'll give it to Dulcich on that one. I'm voting for him, but it means that Daniel Bellinger is moving on to the next round. Greg Dulcich didn't get the love. Situation wasn't good enough for you guys, so Bellinger moving on. I like Bellinger. I do like Bellinger. I think he's a great waiver wire ad. I just am excited about Dulcich, man. I liked what we saw from him yesterday.
I got to find. I want to know what's going on with Alberto, like what he did. You know what I mean? Like LA was walking in the cafeteria with a full plate of food, and Alberto just smashed it on the ground. Like what has happened here with this guy's
not even with him?
Yeah, they pantsed him, dude. Said it. Nice.
What happened is he showed up at the facility with some Pizza Hut instead of some Papa John's, and Peyton came in and had a word with him and was like, "Guys, you can't start this Pizza Hut guy."
Peyton came in to reprimand him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what happened.
Just completely goes from playing one snap to being completely inactive. I mean, good Lord. Yeah, maybe he just wasn't good, but it's just crazy to me because, like, why trade away Noah Fant if you don't think this guy is good? It's just
football.
It's football. That's football as it gets, dude. So that's crazy to me.
Scott Fish said, in fairness with Tunyon, he's been coming back from the injury ACL, and last week they mentioned he was still on limited snaps, but close to being full, and this week he was full. So can he get any more full next week?
That's what if his full snaps are 46 out of 73, then we don't need to.
He said full meaning not limited intentionally, not that he played 100%. The backup snaps just dropped considerably.
So then he's a fine. He just, to me, kind of a not a super high upside option. No, like if he's just going to play like 75% of the snaps.
Yeah, we have two questions about dropping Russell Wilson in the chat down here. One from Nick saying, "Is with the hamstring issue, is it time to drop Russ?" And Joan asking, "Should they drop Russ to pick up Tua instead?"
Oh yeah, I'm doing the Tua one. Definitely picking up Tua.
Yeah, Tua's been awesome.
Tua's the man.
Bad.
Coming back this week, yeah, he's gonna go off again.
But I think Russ is. Would you drop Russ for Marcus Mariota, or are you holding on to Russell Wilson?
Probably holding on to Russell Wilson. Oh, one QB.
Yeah. I just can't trust Marcus Mariota. Can't do it.
Yeah. Where's that line? Like, who's the quarterback on the waiver wire that's the last quarterback you would drop Russell Wilson for? Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is pretty good, right?
Like Derek Carr.
Honestly, I had no idea what you asked. I just was going to answer Kirk Cousins no matter what.
You heard who's the lowest quarterback, and you didn't listen to the rest of the words. You were just like,
Kirk Cousins.
The answer to this one. What about you, Coop? Is there
perennial disappointment?
Where's that line? Where's that line on the quarterback waiver wire?
Taking a little peek just to have it firsthand, the numbers in front of us. So let's skip
down. Hill in your QB spot or Russell Wilson?
You got to skip down to like guys that are under 70% owned to find guys that are somewhere available. So here are the top names: Tua at 68, Trevor Lawrence 65, Jared Goff 55, Jimmy G 39, Justin Fields 38. So I think
cut it off at Jimmy
Kirk
G.
Cousins owned 87% of leagues.
Jimmy G.
You can't really get those guys. So I think it's got to be Tua. Tua definitely. And then Trevor Lawrence in a pinch in the right matchup.
I would 100% take Trevor Lawrence over Russell Wilson right now.
Yeah. I think it's got to be that way.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
You know what's great is the league. I just clicked on a random one of my leagues, and my quarterback in that league is Russell Wilson. So time to add.
Beautiful.
What else?
Time to add. See if Tua's out there on the waiver wire.
He's not.
Guys, we're going to be finishing up. We're going to be finishing up this bracket shortly, as well as playing some fantasy feud right here. And then Teresa Walker, beat reporter for the Tennessee Titans, is joining us on the show a little bit later today as well. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
dude. There's a time for
I eat
waffles.
breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's
well, first
the
of all,
equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got this steak sandwich, which was
steak
excellent,
sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm
odd
not
guy.
an odd guy.
Yes, you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the
Bro,
steakhouse.
do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse and get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We were in the middle of a waiver wire bracket that we got to finish up for you guys. And I saw some questions in the chat while we were out there as well. One question came in asking Broncos or Bengals defense this week. So Broncos or Bengals D. Coop, where are you going? Are you starting the Broncos or the Bengals defense this week?
Broncos or Bengals? So the Broncos,
they're playing the Jets, and then the Bengals are going up against Atlanta, against the Falcons in week 7.
Yeah, I mean, neither of those teams are quite the jokes that we thought that they might be or that they historically have been. You know what I mean? It's not as easy a matchup as you would think. I would start the Broncos defense versus the Jets, though, just because you think about that game and what it's going to be. It's going to probably be a low-scoring affair, over under probably somewhere around like low 40s, and there's less room for error there. Like there's less room for you to get just serious negative points. Whereas I feel like the Falcons, I don't know, they're a team that they've had a lot of games that go to high scoring games, close games. I mean, when you look at the first games of the season, like they were going above 50 points every week. So I'm a little worried about the Falcons starting teams against them. Whereas the Jets, you know, I just don't see a world where they really just like blow up for like 40 on a team like the Broncos. The Broncos looked really good against Justin Herbert last night, right?
To your point, that the over-under in that Jets-Broncos game is set at 41.5, Falcons game at 47.5. So you read that perfectly. Like, look at that. You didn't even need to check.
Try to limit with the defense, man. It's already so weird and so like all over the place that I just try and limit my exposure to getting negative when I'm trying to stream somebody for 1 week. You know, like it's the last thing you want to do. Yeah,
it's Broncos for me as well. Hallen here proposing the Raiders defense, though they have a good schedule going forward. The Raiders playing the Texans this week, so if they're on the waiver wire, that's not a bad one either. Do you like the Raiders over the Broncos, or would you go Broncos still?
Anybody playing the Texans, you start them.
You start them. Jail, what about you? Raiders, Broncos, or the third team that we don't care about? I forget, the Bengals.
Yeah, I would go. I think I would go Broncos over Raiders still.
Broncos, then Raiders.
The Raiders should be available in a lot of leagues because they just had their bye week. And who the heck is carrying the Raiders defense through their bye week? Very few people, right?
Hopefully no one.
Yeah, they're probably out there in a bunch of spots. And, you know, they've already had their bye week. So if they get kind of hot, you know, you got it.
Tommy said me. I was holding on to the Raiders defense. Classic.
1% rostered.
That is like the ultimate homer move, isn't it? To hold on to your underperforming defense through their bye week.
Like three bench spots, and he used one of them on the Raiders defense through their bye week.
Like, where are the Raiders on the season so far as a defense? They can't be very high, right? Oh, the 31st fantasy defense out of 32 Tommy kept on his roster through the bye week. You know what? But it's a nice schedule rest of the season. You look at Tommy playing ahead. I would have dropped him. I would have dropped the Raiders over their bye week. Don't tell Tommy.
Can't hear you whispering. Don't whisper.
It's because I don't want Tommy to hear me. Guys, we're going to move on to the last round of our waiver wire bracket, the last matchup of the first round right here. We've got the running backs, Kenyon Drake versus Rachaad White. Kenyon Drake stepped up this weekend, looked good. Jail loved seeing Kenyon Drake out there. And then Rachaad White, a high upside rookie down there in Tampa Bay, but who disappointed a bit in week 7. Jail, who are you going with off the waiver wire, Kenyon Drake or Rachaad White?
I'm going to go with Kenyon Drake. I think that I'll likely be the only one on the side of this, but yeah, I'm going to go Kenyon Drake's side. I think J.K. Dobbins still dealing with that knee injury. Ravens likely to rotate Kenyon Drake into this, and he looked very good. If you watched the game last week, he looked good. It's passing the eye test, so yeah, Kenyon Drake.
JL, you know who else? Drake. You know who else looks good?
Me.
That's your hair. Yeah, that is a nice looking haircut.
That's literally exactly right. Not only do you look good today, but you sound great, because I'm once again going to agree with you, dude. Yeah. And I think the key thing you hit on there was the injury for J.K. Dobbins. His knee tightened up on him. Tightened up is his own words, his surgically repaired knee, and that's why he didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. So
why do I feel like I know the exact sound it made when it tightened up? That was it.
Creak, creak, like the Tin Man and Wizard of Oz, dude.
Yeah,
you just gotta
the Tin Man movie.
up a little bit.
The Tin Man movie, yeah. It's the prequel. I want a Tin Man prequel is what I want.
Dude, that'd be sick. Look, the Ozverse. You just start doing.
Let's get the Ozverse. Get all the characters.
Oh, dude. That's actually not a crazy idea, dude. Like a Cowardly Lion movie, lollipop kids with machine guns, like that.
I want to know what the hell happened to the lion to make him so cowardly. Like, that's the story I want to know.
Trauma.
We've already it's already been started.
Deep-seated trauma.
We do a Lollipop Guild spin-off, and it's like the main characters are Kyler Murray, Rondell Moore, and Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown might be at 5'9". Marquise Brown might be a little tall. Might have to use Greg Dortch instead. They got plenty of guys over there available for that.
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm with you on that. J.K. Dobbins for me, just because, like, if they came out and said, now let me pose it a different way. So Simon, we've already now kind of decided between the two of us that Dobbins is going to win. Your vote doesn't matter. If, let's say, Dobbins were out for the season and Leonard Fournette were out for the season, would you rather have Kenyon Drake or Rachaad White?
Rachaad White. If they were both out for the season, give me Rachaad White. I think his upside in that offense is a little bit higher. And you've got Lamar Jackson potentially stealing those rushing touchdowns, right? And you've got other backs that the Ravens likely will use. It won't just be the Kenyon Drake show. I'll go with Rachaad White. I do think his upside is generally higher, which is going to be the point I was going to make here. Depends what you're looking for on the waiver wire, which one of these guys you should prioritize. I think Kenyon Drake is plug and play right now. Like, while J.K. Dobbins is dealing with this re-aggravation of his knee injury, you can just start Kenyon Drake if you need a running back start. So if that's what you're looking for, pick him up. If you're looking for a guy that could like blow up over the second half of the season, or if something happens to Leonard Fournette, Rachaad White's the guy you want to pick up. And that's generally what I'm looking for on the waiver wire this time of year, unless there's a hole I actively need to fill. So I'm going to vote for Rachaad White, and it's an upside play. It's a bench stash is what I'm going with.
Yep, I like that. If you need a guy to start for you within, like, if you look at your schedule and you got buys coming up and you need a guy to actually start for you, it's Kenyon Drake. But if you're talking about your running back 6 or 7, just want to stash the highest possible upside, I think I agree that Rachaad White would have the highest possible upside.
But it doesn't matter. He's getting sent home in this bracket. Kenyon Drake moves on.
Bye-bye.
Before we move on to our next round, Scott Fish, trying to make us cry this morning, comes in here, says, you guys put on a really good show. Great hosting, great banter. The addition of Coop, and I lost it. It's gone. There it is. The addition of Coop, the end. The addition of Coop and his massive amount of knowledge he can drop off the top of his head. Love listening each morning. Thanks for being here for us. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Love this guy.
It's so much fun. Scott,
he's the best.
You all make it worth it. We're just here for you all. It's super fun hanging out with you all this morning, every morning, not just this morning.
Also, I love this. It says Ian loves listening to each one. And by the way, he's so Belichick. Lost both his games as the second high score to the top scorer in Scott Fishbowl and his kids' league. Barely seems phased. It's on to next week.
Dude,
On to next week.
Honestly, Ian's going places.
World, get ready for Ian Fish. I don't know if they're ready yet, but this kid is the real deal.
I'm equally excited for him and terrified of him.
He's not phased, although Melvin Gordon definitely showing up to the Fish Center this morning and his key isn't working. The door is not opening.
Melvin Gordon, I'm sorry. You've
got Fish on the other side of the door is shaking.
He's just no, that's Ian's up on the top, in the executive office, and he just closes the blinds, right? That's definitely what's going on over there this morning after last night.
Guys, let's move on to the next round of our bracket. Now we're going to get some cross positional. Up next, we've got Tyquan Thornton, rookie wide receiver for the Patriots, going up against Marcus Mariota. JL, who do you prefer to pick up off the waiver wire?
Sorry, who's the first name?
Thornton, Tyquan Thornton.
One QB league.
One QB league.
Ooh, easy. Give me Tyquan Thornton. I want a skill position player always over the QB in one QB leagues.
Unless
same for me.
Yeah, unless it were somebody was just lighting the world on fire. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was sometimes week 2 or 3, there'll be that QB where it's he throws 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, and Tua was kind of looking like that, where you got to get this guy. But at week 6, guys aren't showing up like that. You know what I mean? So give me Tyquan Thornton.
It's definitely not Marcus Mariota. He's not going to all of a sudden start being amazing.
Yeah.
You got to know what he is.
As much praise as we get him, Tommy's right. The dude threw 14 passes.
Man, but he looked good for 14 passes. It's Tyquan Thornton. It's Tyquan Thornton. It's Tyquan Thornton. It's Tyquan Thornton. Add that blazing speed to your bench. Dude's so fast. That jet sweep he had in that game was just oh man, is he quick? I don't think it registered to me just how fast 4.28 speed actually was until you see it on the football field with other athletes that are the fastest people in the world, and that he's just faster than all of them. And sometimes game speed isn't the same as track speed, right? You get these players that are track fast and then they get out here on the field. I don't think that's the case.
Or slow-mo fast.
You don't realize how slow a 5.1 is until Tom Brady gets loose.
I have no frame of reference for what I could run as a 40-yard dash. I think I'm going to try it one of these days just so I have a better frame of reference to gauge these around. We're probably
last time we raced, I think you tripped before you hit the 40.
I was going to DNF. Is that what it was?
Did not finish.
Disqualified.
Jones.
Last time I ran a 40, I ran a DNF and a quick trip to the hospital.
One of my worst childhood memories was at a swim team race, and I was so bad at swim team. Always came in last. I have so many 6th place ribbons, but I jump in and I'm winning. I see in the other lanes, I am freaking killing it. The problem was it was a breaststroke race, and I jumped in and swam the whole thing freestyle. So they still gave me my 1st place ribbon, but on the back they wrote disqualified. So I have a 1st place ribbon with the words disqualified written on the back, and I just I remember as I'm finishing my last lap, I realized oh my God, this is the wrong stroke. No wonder I'm winning. Of course I'm in 1st place. It's bringing a car to a bike race, and you're just I'm killing it. Because the next match,
but it must have felt good for a couple seconds there. The glory.
Oh, it felt so good. I was man, I just got so much better so quickly. I don't know what happened.
2 things before we move on. One, we need to, if Matthew Berry's at the next FSGA assignment, we need to get him to administer a race between us. We just need this full circle to happen. Second part, Hal said the crazy part is that all the guys on the football field are so fast, 300-pound man running 4.9, 40-yard. It is crazy. My brother, he's a walk-on center. He played for Maryland. He's a walk-on center, and he's 300 pounds. And he's always been super, super fast. They train these big boys to run.
I've seen Vince Wilfork dunk a basketball wearing a pair of Timberland boots. These guys are freaks, dude.
They're insane.
Yeah, not a problem either. He didn't even think about it. It was literally off he missed a shot that hit the backboard and the rim. He just gathered it in one step and just went up and flushed it. And me and my buddies were rolling on the ground. We were what's happening? Yeah, that was he used to come watch Kevin Falk play old man ball at the local YMCA. It's just kind of cool that those guys were friends and stuff.
Yeah. Dustin in here letting us know Kansas City restructured Kelsey's contract to free up $3.5 million in cap space. Scary stuff, possible trade incoming. Working Grind saying they're going for Akers. Yeah, that's what this backfield needs. So
that's a solid move. Trade Travis Kelce for another middling running back.
Or Melvin Gordon over there to Dustin's adding that one, and Melvin Gordon to the Chiefs.
Not trading for a running back.
What wide receiver?
We'll see. Odell. See Odell on the Chiefs.
Dude. That would be something.
And Dustin said just not CMC. That's where the Bills fan draws the line on that optimism, as if the Chiefs get CMC, then they're like, oh, well, shit. Like, there goes our Super Bowl run. Like, add CMC to that Chiefs offense. That is terrifying. We'll see what happens, though. That would be exciting. Our next matchup in this bracket, we've got Daniel Bellinger versus Kenyon Drake. Coop, you adding the rookie tight end, or are you adding the Ravens running back Kenyon Drake?
So for me, I got to add Kenyon Drake. Again, running backs are just more valuable. I trust my ability to piece together tight end. Like, if we're talking about just a normal one tight end, non-tight end premium league, I got to add the running back, Kenyon Drake.
Joe, what about you?
Yeah, Kenyon Drake for me as well.
It's Kenyon Drake for me too. Honestly, if you guys would have allowed it, I would have tried to push Dulcich all the way to the end of this bracket, just out of principle.
What?
Try to say push Dulcich three times fast.
Pull Dulcich.
Nailed it. Perfect. But it's gonna be Kenyon Drake here as well, which means Daniel Bellinger is gonna get eliminated. And we've got our finals, the running back versus the wide receiver. We tried to get some quarterbacks and tight ends in there, but we said nah. So it's Tyquan Thornton versus Kenyon Drake. I'm gonna go first in this one. It's gonna be Tyquan Thornton, and it's for that, it's for the upside. It's for the upside of what Tyquan Thornton could be. I understand the positional scarcity at running back, but I'm not buying into the fact that Kenyon Drake's going to be a long-term solution for this Ravens backfield. Dobbins should get healthy, and Drake's role will diminish when that's the case. So I'm going Tyquan Thornton. JL, I see you shaking your head.
He's gonna be so mad at you when he finds out that you didn't vote for him.
Yeah, he's gonna be so mad at me. That's okay.
I don't know. These guys are so close, Kenyon Drake and Tyquan Thornton. This is gonna come down to what position do you need more of, right? Are you looking for do you need some more running back help, running back depth, or do you need wide receiver depth? In a vacuum, I'll almost always tend towards running back when it comes to these types of decisions, just because it's a little harder to replace. So that'll be the tiebreaker for me.
I'm going full Al Davis homer pick here. Give me the fastest guy. Right, Kenny Drake's actually pretty fast himself, but give me the fastest guy. Give me the guy that plays with Bailey Zappi, super mega star next Tom Brady.
Bailey Zappi,
Bailey Zappi, king of the gridiron. No, I just honestly, Tyquan Thornton, what I saw this week from him was why. I mean, they picked him in the second round. Like, there's some sort of mental discount we have to give to anyone that goes to the Patriots, right? Especially if they get picked high. But any other team picks the fastest dude from the combine in the second round, and aren't we excited about that? Like, for dynasty, for everything, right? Like, if the Kansas City Chiefs picked Tyquan Thornton in the second round, he would be rostered in every single league, right? But because he's on the Patriots, we don't want him for fantasy. Then he plays one game and scores 2 touchdowns. Give me that dude. What if that dude is just? What if he's just awesome? You know?
I'm still rostering Sky Moore in a couple leagues. You know what I mean? Like I didn't drop. I'm still holding on to Sky Moore because he's over there on the Chiefs. And Tyquan Thornton was rostered in like 1% of ESPN leagues. Like, it was like his rostership percentage was bizarrely low, even for being an injured rookie coming into the league.
Sometimes you got to ask yourself, what if the Patriots accidentally one time picked a good wide receiver?
You got to ask it. Working Grind wants to know, Hal asking, should he drop Dobbs for Tyquan Thornton? Romeo Dobbs for Tyquan Thornton.
Similar upside. It's kind of just a lateral move in my opinion. Both have similar probabilities of being able to carve out a role in those offenses.
On this one, I got to zip this shirt up so my Patriots shirt doesn't hear. I would take Romeo Dobbs. He plays every single snap, runs every single route. He plays with Aaron Rodgers. Got to be Dobbs. Got to keep Dobbs.
Tyson wants to know, start Kenyon Drake over Kareem Hunt this week. So we just pushed Kenyon Drake through to the finals. Would you start him over Kareem Hunt, Coop?
Let me see the matchups on that one because it's close enough.
Matchups. Kareem Hunt's got the Baltimore Ravens. And who's the other one?
They play each other.
Kenyon Drake.
That always happens to me.
Yeah, so I don't know. Matchup doesn't really move the needle too far. I think I would start Kenyon Drake just for the upside. He's getting the bulk of the work.
I'm with you. It's Kenyon Drake. And apparently the Browns decided they don't want to run the ball. So Kareem Hunt may not even see any work. I'm expecting them to go 0 rush attempts this week. Just double down on their strategy.
Cameron Brown makes a good point in the chat. Similar point to what JL made. You can never have too many good running backs. Just when you think you're all set, dude, the bad stuff happens. It's like
you have to. One of my dynasty teams is insane. Like I'm just plagued by injuries every single season, and my team is just disgustingly good, but I'm just riddled with injuries. So like Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, forget the other two I have, but similar types of running backs. Dude, you never have too many running backs.
So Cam Brown makes a good point. Unless you are just crazy with running backs right now, you probably have to add the running back. But Tyquan Thornton's more fun. That's a fact.
We had another question here. Wanted to know, would you guys drop Myers or Deontay for Ayuk, Brandon Cooks, or Bateman? So for Brandon Ayuk, Brandon Cooks, or Rashad Bateman?
Bateman, yeah.
So if you could get with adding Bateman, so it sounds like this is a very shallow league if those guys are all on the wire, right?
Yeah.
But if Bateman's on the wire, that probably also means you don't have IR spots. If you could somehow get Bateman into an IR spot and add somebody else, that's the real power move. But I mean, if those guys are on the wire, I don't know if I necessarily need Jacoby Myers. He's kind of a boring player compared to a lot of.
That's what I was going to say. Is I'd add Ayuk or Bateman over Myers.
If you have Deontay Johnson on your bench, dude, when are you going to start Jacoby Myers?
Never.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson. I would rather hold Brandon Ayuk and Bateman are the two names that stand out to me. Bateman over Ayuk, in my opinion.
Why can't Bateman just be better and also healthier?
It's a healthy thing and also offense thing.
And skill. But once those come together, a little bit of
personality.
Once he starts being cooler and nicer and better and healthy, what's up?
Fantasy Nav in here with the for real Bateman. Come on.
Speaking of being cool, we got the coolster in here. I think
we do. We got a question from
all
the
over
coolster.
All over this office.
Coolster.
Question from the
ready
coolster.
Good morning, coolster.
Coolster comes in. He says,
46.
Am I playing Wandale or Alec Pierce this week? Thanks, fellas.
That's the question, isn't it?
You didn't say thanks, fellas. I threw that in there because I thought it'd be a little cooler.
That's the question, isn't it?
Where you going, JL?
No, where are you going, Simon? You always ask me.
Dude,
I know.
You guys are handling this question in the least cool way possible.
Dude,
no, you answer it. Why don't you guys one of you guys step up right now and be Mr. Cool and tell the coolster who to start here?
I'm starting Tyquan Thornton.
Alec Pierce.
It's Wandale Robinson and Alex Pierce. Tyquan Thornton's not even.
I'm going Alec Pierce.
You're going full Mr. Cool and calling for a third-party player to be added to the mix?
Yeah. Just don't even know if he's on his team, on his roster. But
dude, that's truly cool in it, dude.
I'm going with Alec Pierce in this one. I know he had a disappointing week, but I still think he's going to be a part of this offense going forward.
He had the highest scoring week of his season so far. Got that touchdown.
Touchdown, yeah. But
I mean, from like an involved, we saw Paris Campbell step up. Like I understand people are nervous for Alec Pierce after we saw like the high target volume 2 weeks prior, and then Paris Campbell all of a sudden is like a focal point of this offense in week 6. I'm still trusting Alec Pierce.
I want Alec Pierce. I would start Alec Pierce over Wandale because Wandale only played 15 snaps. But we were all talking like, or especially me, saying like it's time for Alec Pierce to play more snaps than Paris Campbell. And what did the Colts do? They ran 81 offensive snaps this week. Guess how many snaps Paris Campbell played?
86.
81.
Oh, I was so close. I was so close.
He did something that legit nobody does. He played every single snap. They probably turned to Paris Campbell and was like, hey, you know what? This is your last chance, or is Alec Pierce going to be the guy? And Paris Campbell showed up. So Paris Campbell's the guy that probably should be on our radar at this point. No?
Maybe
81 snaps?
That's a lot of snaps.
Alec Pierce is the Tennessee Titans this week, which is the best defense for running backs. So I think the matchup is a definitely easy tiebreaker here, but Alec Pierce is my guy.
Cool, so you're saying, so you think Tyquan is going to outscore those two? I think Joe was just saying Tyquan Thornton.
I rank those guys. Alec Pierce,
I was just being a menace.
Alec Pierce, Tyquan Thornton, and then Wandale Robinson. Kevin Tompkins points out in the chat. Kevin Tompkins, the usage master. Colts ran definitely. If you haven't, I'm not sure if it's out yet, but check out Kevin Tompkins has a awesome article that comes out on Fantasy Alarm. Quite possibly the best weekly article on Fantasy Alarm. And even though I write multiple articles, this one's great. It's an awesome usage article you got to check out. But I mean, all my articles are awesome, but this one maybe even slightly more awesome. As crazy as that gets. So Colts ran the third most no huddle of any team this week. Pretty exciting stuff for fantasy football. That's how you get to 81 snaps without overtime. Is you just forget all that downtime. No commercial breaks.
Say no, coach. I'm playing.
Nope. We're riding.
We had another question in here from Hal. Hal wanted to know Kenyon Drake or Latavius Murray this week. I got dilemmas. So Kenyon Drake or Latavius Murray, which way you going, JL?
Stop asking me questions.
Kenyon Drake, we know, playing the Browns, right? We got Kenyon Drake going up against the Browns, and then who are the
call back at 3, Pete? Call back at 3.
Nando and Corey.
Ask for Nando DeFino. If you have a question regarding 2 older running backs who simply will not go away and are just kind of a leech on fantasy football, call back 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Ask for Nando DeFino and Corey Parsons.
I feel like Kenyon Drake just caught some strays there, getting lumped in with Latavius Murray a little bit, like the old guy soaking up fantasy value. I feel like that's
15
more
attempts for Latavius Murray.
Right.
It's Kenyon like Drake.
It's like Carlos Hyde versus Carlos Hyde question. Right, it's like David. What was it?
Carlos Hyde and Latavius Murray are the same player.
Yeah, you just asked us Carlos Hyde versus Jordan Howard, but like
Kenyon Drake in this over Latavius Murray. I know he got the 15 attempts. I don't know that this is going to be life going forward now. Melvin Gordon said that super sad post. Now the coaches are probably going to read that and want to get him in more involved. So,
you think
or we find out tomorrow he's on the Cardinals.
Or tomorrow he's on the Cardinals, in which case Latavius Murray all day.
Yeah, I wonder what it was that got him benched so like thoroughly. Did he miss like a block in pass protection, or he didn't fumble again? Did he?
I don't
like.
Think
why
so.
did he get benched? Like if you care about this guy at all, and they're putting clown emojis up there, you got to give him another shot. He must have.
Coach is just like, oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the info to come out on that. As soon as it does, I'll give an update. But I want to see what happened there.
And Tommy's saying, what NFL team do they have in common? Is this really where you want to plant your Raiders flag? Is whenever we're talking the Kenyon Drake versus Latavius Murray matchup, Tommy? Like this is where you want to showcase your Raiders fandom, is with these 2 running backs now on other teams that, as Coop puts it, are older and leeches on the fantasy football landscape.
Martavis Bryant today.
Yeah,
could have easily went with him.
Yeah, that could have been yours right there. And Tommy's got to hold on to something. Yeah, I guess you can hold on to that, Tommy.
What is Dustin talking about? There's a new Mountain Dew flavor.
I know there's a Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. Is that the one he's talking about? That was a little while ago that came out. That one I never tried, but I have seen Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew online.
Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew? That sounds disgusting.
It's like Flamin' Hot Cheetos flavor, but in Mountain Dew.
Oh, here we go.
White people
new Mountain Dew flavor. New fruitcake flavored Mountain Dew called Fruit Quake.
No, it's not. They did not name it Fruit Quake.
What's the impetus for putting for like mashing in the earthquake pun here?
Because like Mountain Dew's all about like the surge, the mountain, the thunder.
So fruitcake was too soft for them. They had to make it more hard.
Me and my buddy Meat Mansion, who pops in the chat sometimes, just got back into playing that game PUBG on Xbox. Yeah. Dude, I might have to load up some Fruitquake, dude. See if we can get some W's on there. Get fired up. Get fired like a 6-pack of Fruitquake, dude.
Hey, can we stream video games on the show, Keith? Let us know.
Let us know, Keith.
We truly need screen
some
sharing,
Overcooked.
Keith. Wake up, dude.
Man, I know it's like not a unique take. I know it's everybody's take, but Baja Blast is like an elite soda. It's only a Taco Bell. It's absolutely incredible.
It's good, bro.
It's a top tier soda. Not just a top tier Mountain Dew, but like it changes the taste of your gordita. Your cheesy gordita crunch is better with Baja Blast.
When I was at, first of all, it's all about chalupas, dude. Chalupas are like crack. Whatever they make those shells out of, amazing. But
first of all, it's all about tacos.
First of all, you get a taco when you order chalupas because they're like a little side order. They're like a little nothing. So, but anyway, you go to Las Vegas Taco Bell, they have alcoholic Baja Blast. They have like ones with tequila and like vodka in it. It's pretty fancy.
They have alcoholic everything in Vegas.
I saw a wedding at that Taco Bell. I saw a video of someone who rented out the top floor of that Taco Bell and did their wedding at the Las Vegas Taco Bell because they got like a rooftop up there too.
Yeah,
it looks pretty
Taco Bell
wild.
it's like a club, dude. That's
Guys, coming up.
That's the bell.
Coming up, we're going to be playing some Fantasy Feud, and then Teresa Walker, beat reporter for the Tennessee Titans for the Associated Press, is coming on the show a little bit later today as well. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
We got to get a team in Honolulu. Like, what about that, Ray? You think Oakland? Like, nobody's talking about Honolulu for the Oakland A's to move to. How badass would that be to have a Major League Baseball team? Instead, they want to go to like where it's 120 degrees in the desert of Vegas.
Right.
Ray, they should pick up and go to Honolulu. That would be epic right there for the A's.
They could go to Honolulu, and instead of playing 12 games against a team throughout the course of the year, you just play a 12-game set. Just get it done.
What's the flight from the Bay Area? 4 hours?
It's depending which direction you're going, it's 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible. You'd have to manage the schedule a bit.
Right.
But it's doable. Like, you play your West Coast games and then maybe you give an extra day. Like you play in San Francisco through Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Monday off. Everybody gets their Monday off and then they play, out in Hawaii for 4 games. Then they come back.
It's very similar time-wise for us in California, in the Bay Area, to go to Hawaii as it is to go to New York. It's very similar. So, yeah, like you're saying, Giants do that to go to the Mets. The A's do that to go to the Yankees. They do it, so it would be very similar.
They would be they've already got the baseball background. I mean, they're dominant. The island loves their baseball. And Ray, you could even rebrand the team from the Oakland A's to the Oakland Lays. You can do the Lays, Ray. Look at that.
Good. That's actually, there's no way that would ever happen, but that's pretty good, Kyle. On the fly.
I'm giving away like free marketing right here.
Good work.
Right on the show.
The plan is for them to stay here, but the fans hate them. I don't know if the city likes them. They can't. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know. The plan
There's
is
a lot of land in Hawaii. Just think about the views, Ray, of the Pacific. It would put your crap ballpark in San Francisco to shame. Like, everybody thinks that's a good view.
Right.
They'd have like waterfalls and real palm trees and the Pacific Ocean.
People trolling fire in the 7th inning stretch.
Make the Giants Park look like, the vet in Philly. It would look that awful if they moved to Hawaii.
And then you go to your flip-flops or shorts. They serve Mai Tais. They give Lays away. Or, the first 5,000 fans, whatever.
Well, everybody in the chat room loves it. Every time I get a compliment, I don't bring it up on the show.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't want to be that guy.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to play some Fantasy Feud this Wednesday morning, October 18th, 2022. You guys ready for some Fantasy Feud?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Oi.
Hey.
Fantasy Feud. You have to answer all of your responses in your best death metal growl is what you have to do.
Sick breakdown, bro.
Yours is actually really solid. JL, you go.
I go.
Yeah, let's hear your death metal growl, JL. What's funny is that was closer to my Chewbacca than my Chewbacca was. Your death metal growl right there. That was a better Chewbacca impersonation than I could have done. I see Joan in here with a question. Wants to know, would you that you nailed it.
Honestly, I'm scared myself there a little bit with how accurate that was.
Joan wants to know, would you start Dak over Burrow this week? So Dak first week back, but he does have a juicy matchup going up against that Detroit Lions defense, which we have seen to be quite porous. Would you guys be going with Dak Prescott in his first week back or Joe Burrow going up against Who are they playing? They're playing
Falcons.
the Falcons. That's right.
Dude, Joe Burrow's been pretty good. I just roll with Joe Burrow for now. See what you got with Dak Prescott coming back from the hand injury. Unless you're like really far ahead and you want to just like be dangerous just because you need that thrill.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you don't got to be crazy here because both of them, they're both going to be favorites by like a touchdown, and the implied line will probably suggest that they both should be high scoring teams this week. So
if it feels like one tier lower, like Aaron Rodgers or Trevor Lawrence, I'd say plug Dak Prescott in, but you're looking at Joe Burrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Or honestly,
he's got Atlanta too.
Even if Burrow, exactly, it's the Atlanta matchup because they're favored. If it was Burrow going up against like the Eagles, then I would actually go Dak. But since the matchup's just as good, I don't see why you have to go crazy.
Guys, let's get into some fantasy feud.
No.
I'm going to ask how this game is going to work is I'm going to ask a prompt. It's going to have multiple answers to it. They're going to be ranked in some way for some of them. You guys buzz in by saying your name if you think you know a player that's on there. If it's right, it's on there. It's the number one option. You're going to get to play that puzzle. You're going to try to get all of the players and or items that are on this list. If you don't pick the number one option, your opponent will have a chance to give an option that's higher on the list than yours, in which case, if they get it, they will play the puzzle. Get all of them right without getting 3 strikes. You're going to earn the points, however many options there are. Get 3 strikes before you get all of them. Your opponent's going to have a chance to steal. All they have to do is name one that you didn't name, and they will steal all of the points that you earned. Here is your first one. Remember, say your name. If
you have to say it in a metal voice, too.
Yeah, you have to. Okay. You have to go. In JL, I need the full John Luke because in metal it just is going to sound better if you say John Luke.
No, that puts me at a disadvantage. Coop's just got Coop. It's easy.
One more
I gotta do the full one. Coop.
That's actually kind of how Nando says it on the promos.
I'm gonna change my ringtone whenever Coop texts me to just go JL saying Coop. Is what it's gonna be. Here's your first one. The most Googled NFL players.
John Luke.
Okay, John Luke, what you got?
Let's go with Christian McCaffrey.
That is a bonk. He's not even in the top 5.
Well, for what span are we talking?
No idea.
Not a single. If you were
1997 to 2022.
Because the crazy thing is, if you were to say like 24 hours, then that completely changes it from 1 week or 1 month, right? Like 24 hours, I bet like Robbie Anderson's on there. But over the last month, Robbie Anderson's probably not even close to the most Googled players.
Over the last 15 years, Robbie Anderson's probably not even on that list.
Probably not. It seems to be at least moderately recent. Just looking at it.
Okay. Then I'll go with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is tied for first on the list. Tom Brady's tied for first. So
he's always got some sort of drama going on. But even as of late, he's got like reasons why non-football fans would be Googling him, right? Because the divorce stuff and all that chatter.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like that's anytime you got off the field weird stuff going on, that adds to your Google.
Coop, you get to play now. There's 4 more names on this list. Name all of them. You're going to get the points. Otherwise, Jay will have a chance to steal.
Coop, do you have any off the field weird stuff?
Tons, dude. You should a lot of loose ends tied from this wedding. You know what I mean? May have stepped on some people's toes on the dance floor, but that's just how Mr. Cool rolls, baby.
It's got one of those Men in Black memory erasers.
Beelzebubs in.
Beelzebubs.
Get some Beelzebubs in you. Nah, everything. These days, everything off the field is great. Get married, dude. Going on a honeymoon soon. Dog's doing well.
Getting taller.
Maybe a little taller. Maybe.
What do you think, Coop? Who else is one of the most Googled players besides Tom Brady?
It just made me think about a bunch of other stuff. I think I imagine people have been searching Russell Wilson's name up quite a bit. He's been playing
Russell Wilson
primetime games.
Is number 5 on this list with 823,000 Google searches in whatever window this is for.
Sneaky, whatever window this is for. Let's see what other players.
Forget to close your windows, Coop. No cheating.
You can look what I have up. I have fucking Mountain Dew Beast Quake up, and last thing I searched, Will Fuller was searched.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. Probably not Will.
His windows still there. Mountain Dew Fruit Quake and Will Ferrell is what you got pulled up on your
on my research page here. Important
8
research for
a.m.
the show.
Google Ads just can't figure you out. They're like, this guy's a freaking anomaly.
A truck, some NASCAR truck driver named Kyle Potts. Kyle Plotz that went to school with Simon. That's legit. Like the 3 tabs I have open. I should probably have some football up on some of these screens, but
nah.
Well, can't have it up now for this game. So now that I've given myself the right amount of stalling, I will say Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson is not on this list.
Meat bonk.
1X Coop. You got 2 more strikes before we move on to the next puzzle, or we move on to JL.
Where's the meat bonk animation?
There it is.
Cool. Meat bonk.
Meat bonk.
Okay. So it's not. So it's got to be more like the last week or X amount of time. So then I will go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is tied with Tom Brady for first on this list. Those 2 guys are sitting at the top. You got 3 of them, Coop. You got 1 strike. You got to get 2 more without getting 2 more strikes. Where are you going next?
I think I will go with. I feel part of me wants to just keep doing quarterbacks. What about?
This is how I imagine. This is how I imagine it feels to watch Coop play golf.
Just like checking every read and
just stalling every shot.
Stalling every shot, and but it doesn't help you in golf to stall. It helps you in this game to stall. You guys talk about fruitcake Mountain Dew for a minute while I think.
No.
Okay. So how about somebody that's been injured to test the timeline of this? Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams is not correct. Not on that list. That's 2 strikes. Coop, you got
Everybody
1 more
forgot about
strike.
him.
2 more options on there.
2 more.
What's your option going to be?
Who's been hot these days? People want to know what's going on with Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is not on the list.
Bonk.
Jail right now. Coop has 3 of these, which means if you get one right, you're going to get 4 points. Steal all these points. There's 2 names left. Who is one of the most Googled NFL players?
This sucks.
Who's getting googed?
Who's? Oh man, I'm gonna totally fumble this. I'll go with. Did you already say Mahomes? I'll go with Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is on this list, the 3rd most Googled player. Dale, you're stealing all the points. And the last one, number 4 on this list was Cam Newton. Cam Newton was the 4th most Googled.
What a landmine that was!
What the heck?
That one,
there was just no way for Kirk to win that one.
There's no way for you to win. Perfect.
Well,
awesome.
And you could have gone 4 of them, and then JL could have not guessed Cam Newton.
If JL was better at guessing in the first place, then I wouldn't have to deal with that. There's a specific reason that I didn't drop the
so bad
on that one.
Royal Campa in the chat saying what? LMAO? Absolutely. That one was tricky. That was an absolute landmine in there. We had some questions in the chat before we hit our next one. Oh, wait. Cameron Brown in the chat in YouTube guessed Cam? ?
What?
Cam Akers.
They got Cam. Maybe they were saying Akers, but there is some plausible just deniability.
Cameron Brown, you tell us if you meant Cam Akers or not. You better be honest.
If you
legend, dude.
Yeah, how was it not Cole Beasley? Hallett here saying he doesn't even have an album out yet. Cole Beasley should have been up there. People searching for those sick tunes. Coop, what was the sick song that you loved by them?
80 Stings, dude. That's
80
fire.
Stings.
Fuego. That's that fire fuego, bro. It makes you it makes you
reminds me of like the kids at my high school. Like there was like this real just like dweeby white kid at my high school that thought he was going to be a rapper, like was 100%
every high school has one.
You gotta have one, right? And I just remember the song. He's like 13 years old and he puts out a song that goes like strike like thunder, loud like lightning, F the police, they just trying to indict, man. I'm like, you're 13, man. You're not like, you're 13 years old. You haven't had a run-in with the police. Like I saw your mom drop off your lunch at school yesterday whenever she came in. Like she met you in the lunchroom. Like
I'll never forget.
And then Imagine Dragons stole that song and they
made millions. I'll never forget that equivalent of that kid at my high school. And I'll never forget this memory of being in freshman gym and watching him engage in a rap battle against this other kid who was in our class, who's like Stephon Diggs' close friend. The dude just got wrecked, totally wrecked, just completely embarrassed himself. He was like a sophomore and he's like going against a freshman. It was a big ordeal in freshman times.
You got to root for the white kid. He's throwing up.
No,
Absolutely do not.
That kid was the worst. The kid at my high school was just the absolute worst person. Like just a nightmare of a human being right there. I was cheering against him no matter what.
The odds were stacked. The odds were stacked, man.
That dude was not killing it over there. We had some more questions in here. E wanted to know, got a trade offer, Saquon Barkley for Stephon Diggs. I have Justin Jefferson and DeAndre Hopkins, but my running backs are only David Montgomery and Brian Robinson. Should I accept? So trade away Diggs, get Saquon Barkley. They've got Jefferson and Nuke as their other wide receivers.
This comes down to just what strategy are you trying to employ, and it comes down like this is a totally fair trade. You're talking about two of the best players at their position. If you need to balance out your team, get a little more wide receiver depth, go for it.
It sounds like when he says I have Jefferson and Hopkins, it sounds like it's a 2 wide receiver league. Do we know that?
Sounds like it.
2 in a flex.
We don't know that for sure, but it does.
Then I'd go. Yeah, if he has Hopkins and Jefferson, then I would do that and go get Barkley.
We have one more question in here from the gray area. The gray area said I was offered in a mid first for Kenneth Walker. I'm rebuilding. I have 8 firsts this year, 4 of 5 of which will be top picks. So Kittle in a first for Kenneth Walker. I'm not taking that if you're rebuilding. Like you've already got the picks and you've got a star young running back. Like roll with Kenneth Walker, man. That's a good piece for a rebuild. Rebuilds shouldn't take more than a season or 2 in fantasy football. And Kenneth Walker's well within that window. So you're not worried about him being a running back.
Kittle will turn 30 next year too. Like that's a trade you do if you have one of the top 2 teams in your league and you can win this year. Then you trade for Kittle. In this case, I'm not trading for Kittle.
No. Yeah, and you're projecting a mid first. Rule of thumb that I like to follow is just I almost always just assume middle because you never know where you're going to land, where your league mates are going to land at the end of the season. Almost never just based off of like how we perceive power rankings essentially in the beginning of the season. I don't know. This trade's kind of interesting to me. I could see going either way. If you're really bullish on this class that's coming in, getting a first round pick might be Kenneth Walker and George Kittle for free. But there's risk, right? You might not get a Kenneth Walker, might bust. That pick is going to appreciate over time until that draft. So it's a few things to consider there. I don't think it's necessarily a bad trade one way or the other.
No, I'm with you guys. Let's get into our next round of Fantasy Feud. We have another one. A reminder, buzz in by saying your name. If you get it right, you're going to get to play this one. For this next one, we pulled one Simon and asked him players Simon is most upset about this fantasy football season. There are 5 responses.
Damn. I already got it.
Coop buzzed in first. Coop, throw one out there.
Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Mooney is number 1 on the list. Coop, you are going to get to play this puzzle.
Clarification question.
Yes.
Fair moderator. At what point can we call our own name or buzz in? Is it after you spot talk? So as soon as you start talking, you can.
Yeah, if you want to buzz in with limited information, you are free to buzz in with limited information.
Thanks a roundabout way of calling me a cheater, JL. But I'm within.
Just curious. I'm just trying to understand the operating rules here.
You know how I understood
I appreciate you checking those limits, but Coop found them as well.
I checked the limits,
and he gets to play. Coop, you got one of them. There's 4 more names on this list. Can you name them? No strikes so far.
Gonna be difficult here, I think.
Do we know the Simon that we pulled?
It's me. I'm the Simon.
Now, the part of it, I think part of this has to be can I at least ask one question? Like, can we are there injured players on the list? Like, can you be disappointed because of injury or we're talking just fantasy performance? Because
that's the way the question was worded to me. I'm going to read it to you again. Yeah. Okay. It's not fantasy disappointments. The question was worded to me. Player Simon is most upset about this fantasy season is how it was pitched to me. I'm not going to provide any further clarification. Right. That is the question I was asked, and my answers are according to the wording there.
I think that's fair. Okay. Then in that case, I'll say Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson is not on the list. So that is 1 strike. Not that I'm not upset, I guess. He just didn't make the cut.
There's the meat bonk. Yeah. Okay. So most upset. How about Cole Kmet?
Cole Kmet is not on the list. No Cole Kmet either. That's a good guess, though. He was on my short list. He almost made it in the top 5. It's 2 strikes.
2 strikes. The first one was so easy that it's making these other ones
a little more
difficult for me. All right. Most disappointed about.
Most upset about.
Most upset about. How about
Love playing this game.
Javonte Williams.
There is no Javonte Williams on this list.
Like Javonte Williams coming in.
Yeah, I know you didn't like him. Yeah, I should have thought of that.
So do I get to try and steal?
You get to try to steal now, Joe. You just have to get one player on this list, and you.
And I will go with Big Daddy Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill is number 3 on this list. JL, you are going to pull that one away. Joe, you got any other guesses for names that are on here?
Juju.
Juju is not on there, but that's a great one. I should have put him on there. I'm still holding out hope, I guess.
No, I was trying to
DeAndre Swift.
No, there is one injured player on there, and I guess 2 now technically.
Rashad Bateman
is a player. I drafted Elijah Mitchell everywhere. Yeah. I drafted him in every single league. That was very upsetting to see him go down early. Kyle Pitts, disappointing. Drafted a lot of Kyle Pitts, and then the last one, and it honestly has more to do with DJ Moore, but it's Baker Mayfield. Like, it's the double whammy with Baker Mayfield, where like not only am I sad about Baker, but I'm also sad about DJ Moore. So I put Baker Mayfield in that.
And Robbie Anderson because he's not there anymore.
And Robbie Anderson because he's not there anymore. That was my exact logic on this one, JL. Joe, you're going to get 2 more points, putting you steady lead. Coop's gotten to play both puzzles, but you've done nothing but steal his points away from him. Let him do the work, and then you swoop in and take them over there. Hallen, you had a question for us. You want to know, can Heineke save my 14-team Superflex squad?
No, he cannot. Try again next week.
No.
I mean,
that's like calling for a superhero to come save you, and like Mr. Magoo shows up.
Mr. Bean.
I mean, usually things in the end turn out okay for Mr. Magoo, but it's not pretty.
Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo. I don't even know who Mr. Magoo is.
I have no idea who Mr. Magoo is.
Mr. Magoo was this dude that was like.
Oh, I know who Mr. Magoo is. I was thinking of
like blind. He's just like
what's the dumb movie with that one guy who's friends with Steve Martin? People are gonna kill me. He's a very famous comedian, wildly famous comedian, and he's really good friends with Steve Martin.
Martin Short.
Is he the one? Mr. Megorium's Martin Short. It's Martin Short. Yeah. Oops, yeah. People that's a bad one to forget his name. But I was thinking of Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium whenever you said Mr. Magoo with Martin Short in it. Just that's immediately what came to mind.
Were you alluding to Only Murders in the Building?
No, I was alluding to Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Oh, well, Steve Martin and Martin Short are in Only Murders in the Building.
They have like a stand-up special together, which is why I was referring them together. Like they perform together on stage. Oh, and that's Dustin Hoffman anyways.
I was going to say Martin Short not even in that show.
Yeah.
In my brain, that's Martin Short as Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Like in my brain, that's been replaced.
Mr. Magoo,
that's hilarious.
Probably even more famous than Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. But,
yeah, I mean, I would imagine so. That's not like a cinematic
masterpiece. Maybe my circle's a little different, perhaps.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we hit all the questions. Guys, before we get into our next puzzle, I wanted to give everyone a heads up. We're doing another sick giveaway here on the Better Sports Network. Make sure you're listening to Moose and Keith today at 11 a.m. Eastern time for your chance to win an Allen Iverson signed Philadelphia 76ers jersey. Woo! That's hot right there. To be eligible, you need to download the free Better Sports Network app, register, and just be listening today at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. That is AM, not PM. It's courtesy of gettingthegame.com and Better Sports Network. You don't got to buy anything. You just got to be 18 or over and not have won in the last 90 days. Allen Iverson signed jersey. That's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
AI jersey.
That could be a sick day for a Philly sports fan, right? Like the Eagles are the last remaining undefeated team. They beat their rival, the Cowboys, this weekend. The Phillies still alive in the playoffs hunt, and then you win an Allen Iverson signed jersey. Like you're just living the Philly sports dream life if you win that jersey. What more do you want?
You don't have to be a Philly fan.
No, absolutely not. I'm just like daydreaming about the guy who's like riding such a sports high and then wins this jersey. Keith, our New York sports fan, says, I will fart throughout the intro into your headphones. If I guess he hates the Philly sports teams.
Oh, I thought he was just making a suggestion.
No, I think he's saying if I don't stop talking up Philly, he's gonna fart through my headphones over and over and over.
What a weird threat.
You know what? He's been farted on by enough Philly fans that's his only defense mechanism. Every time the Jets fans show up, the Philly fans are just running up.
They hold him down.
Are you coming to my house to fart in my headphones? Or
he's beef stewing you hard is what he's doing.
That'd be awful, dude.
Please no.
Into my actual headphones, dude. Because then next time I go and do the Bane mask move, it's just,
a big old mouthful of Keith's bum.
Yeah. So I don't even know why he said he was going to do that, but whatever it is, can we just make sure we don't do that?
I'm in, Keith. Count me in. I'm going to take the punt to the face from Pat McAfee, and then I'm going to take the Keith farts in my headphones. It's just a good Wednesday. Today's not Wednesday.
That's a good.
Today's Thursday.
Today's Tuesday, right?
Nope.
I hope we don't have the beat writer that's going to be on with us for the Titans. She's tuning in now just to see what the show's about. She's probably still pretty.
And we're talking our producer farting into our headphones is what we got going on right here.
Mr. Walker is coming on now to talk about that.
If you need a crash course in FYF, the last couple minutes will give you everything you need to know
about farting in headphones. Guys, Teresa Walker is going to be joining the show ever so briefly, beat writer for the Tennessee Titans. We got some questions about this Titans franchise that we want to talk to her about this morning. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
And follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
We got to get a team in Honolulu. Like, what about that, Ray? You think Oakland? Like, nobody's talking about Honolulu for the Oakland A's to move to. How badass would that be to have a Major League Baseball team? Instead, they want to go to like where it's 120 degrees in the desert of Vegas.
Right.
Ray, they should pick up and go to Honolulu. That would be epic right there for the A's.
You could go to Honolulu and instead of playing 12 games against a team throughout the course of the year, you just play a 12-game set. Just get it done.
What's the flight from the Bay Area? 4 hours?
It's depending which direction you're going, it's 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible. You'd have to manage the schedule a bit.
Right.
But it's doable. Like, you play your West Coast games and then maybe you give an extra day. Like you play in San Francisco through Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Monday off. Everybody gets their Monday off and then they play, out in Hawaii for 4 games. And they come back.
It's very similar time-wise for us in California, in the Bay Area, to go to Hawaii as it is to go to New York. It's very similar. So, yeah, like you're saying, Giants do that to go to the Mets. The A's do that to go to the Yankees. They do it, so it would be very similar.
They would be they've already got the baseball background. I mean, they're dominant. The island loves their baseball. And Ray, you could even rebrand the team from the Oakland A's to the Oakland Lays. You can do the Lays, Ray. Look at that.
Good. That's actually, there's no way that would ever happen, but that's pretty good, Kyle. On the fly.
I'm giving away like free marketing right here.
Good work.
Right on the show.
The plan is for them to stay here, but the fans hate them. I don't know if the city likes them. They can't. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know. The plan
There's a lot of land in Hawaii. Just think about the views, Ray, of the Pacific. It would put your crap ballpark in San Francisco to shame. Like, everybody thinks that's a good view.
Right.
They'd have like waterfalls and real palm trees and the Pacific Ocean.
People trolling fire in the 7th inning stretch.
Make the Giants Park look like, the vet in Philly. It would look that awful if they moved to Hawaii.
And then you go to your flip-flops or shorts. They serve Mai Tais. They give Lays away. The first 5,000 fans, whatever.
Well, everybody in the chat room loves it. Every time I get a compliment, I don't bring it up on the show.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't want to be that guy.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to talk to our Tennessee Titans beat reporter, Teresa Walker. Before we do that, though, a couple reminders I wanted to throw out there for you guys. We are running a FanDuel contest this week. We will announce the winner Sunday, but each week we're going to be running a FanDuel contest this season. If you win, you can get a sick piece of merch from the Front Yard Fantasy merch shop, whichever one you want. You can get Inches by Simon, the cool underpants where I'm just showing you I'm showing you that I'm number one is all that I'm doing in that picture. or we have a sick new shirt up on the website. If you are a fan of Start Sits and Salutations with Joey Wright, we have a new Oh Hi Club up on the website that is sick. I know our winner from 2 weeks ago picked that one. They're going to get one of those in their mailbox sometime soon. The link for our FanDuel contest is in the chat, though. So just click on that link in the YouTube chat, and you can join our FanDuel contest and have your chance to win your piece of clothing from the merch shop or coffee mug. I guess that could be clothing if you wanted to wear it, if you're brave enough.
Okay. Some merch, dude.
Yeah, you can get some merch. Jay wants to know, will I sign the underpants? Yeah, if you are the first person to purchase the underpants with my face on them on our website, I will sign them for you. You can have autographed Inches by Simon underpants. Who wouldn't want that?
I need this Oh Hi Club.
Sure. It's pretty sick, isn't it? It's pretty sick.
Now that I've been on the show for, I don't know, 75 hours, I should probably get a little merch. You know?
Probably.
Maybe get a little merch going, you know?
Yeah. I think we can send some merch out to you.
What you got to do before we'll send you merch, Coop, is you have to get the Front Yard Fantasy logo tattooed somewhere on your body. It's like, how are we going to give you a temporary shirt with our logo on it if you're not willing to have the logo permanently?
I already have it.
We might change it too.
It's like, oh yeah, done.
I mean, we're not going to change it.
I did it years ago.
Yeah, no, I have it going. It's like a ponytail, except I just shaved the square where the ponytail would be and got it right there. So back of my head is shaved with a.
So the complete opposite of a ponytail is what you're saying. The lack of hair back there. I like it.
It's at the ponytail spot. It's at the ponytail spot, except
pony hole. It's a pony hole.
It's the inverse ponytail. Yeah.
Don't call it a pony hole.
Kind of a big.
You can't say that.
Big hit at the wedding.
I like Al's option, a noni tail. It's a noni tail.
Ooh, G-Man J in the chat. They have a Grimace Gang shirt in the works, dude.
Oh, and here comes the spam bots.
Yeah. We say Grimace once. No, we say noni tail, and all of a sudden the spam bots are in here. The porn bots are like,
the Tinder bots are in the chat. Like, here we go, dude. The noni tail. Noni tail.
Somebody say bony hole in here.
Yeah. Better Al. That's why you're the idea, man. That's why you're. Can we get some flexes in the chat for
hit that fun button
dude?
for
Hit
Al.
that fun button. Get your flexes up for Better Al.
I always read it as Better AI, so I just assume Al is an AI bot.
A better one.
Yeah, they're those flexes, baby. Yeah,
a degenerate.
Strong arm them, baby. Yip skittle do.
Also, Joey in here saying coconut bra. Nah, FYF coffee mug bra. Yeah, that's the move. If you want 2 coffee mugs, we can probably make that happen. You put yourself together a nice little top, your Sunday game watching experience. And then if you need to pour yourself a beer, you just lift a cup right here and drink it like that. It's pretty handy.
Weird to challenge Al to a wrestling match first time I see him next.
I think.
What did you say?
Is it weird if I challenge Al to a wrestling match the first time I see him next?
I don't think it's weird, but I think it's stupid. I think you're going to get your ass kicked by Al. I think he's going to just whoop you. Al, you're saying he's not scared at all. Tails like, yeah, that's the goal, to get my ass kicked by Al. That's what I want right there.
I wouldn't fight the Williams brothers, dude. The two of them probably seen their fair share of tussles, fair share of tag.
If I don't have much of a chance with just Al, I don't think I'm going to take him and his brother then.
Yeah, you can't fight him, dude. Can't fight him.
You know what? I'll take both of yous.
Tommy's saying he's selling tickets now. Selling tickets to the fight.
Yeah,
what are the odds? What odds?
Daddy Deutsch taking bets in the crowd.
I got like minus 800 on Al. Minus 800 on Al to win that fight. JL,
you know what? Those are some pretty fair odds. I
think so.
That. Yeah.
You think you would take that? Coop, who you taking? You taking minus 800
at the house on it, dude. It's free money. That's free real estate.
What's my money line odds at?
Money line straight up to win this game, probably plus 12.
No, I see three guys talking, and then I see the blank spot, and I can hear everything. I've got a button up at the top, publish only off.
Hey, guys in the chat, can you hear that?
Can you hear that down at the bottom? That's it.
Going on in the background
I'm in Chrome.
Now? Yes, they can hear that. Okay.
Someone's got a button.
There we go. Sorry about that, guys. We got a question in here, a very important question. Dustin wants to know who wins in a 3-way fight between the hosts. So the 3 of us fight. Who wins that?
Just so you guys know, I fight pretty dirty. So if there's any bricks,
Simon.
If there's any bricks in the area.
Oh, okay. So I see what kind of fight it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nobody's beating Simon.
I think it's got to be Simon too.
I'm usually a humble man. I think I'm taking this one down. I think this is a category. You guys beat me in most other things.
I will never say anything nice about you, Simon, that I didn't mean, but I've watched you wrestle a pledge at Mountain Weekend, and it was truly one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen.
You want to know the best part about that? My current girlfriend of 5 years, that was her boyfriend at the time before we really knew each other. The person you saw me wrestle, that was her boyfriend. She was watching.
You guys went full feats of strength over a girl?
No, it was not about the girl at the time, but little did we know that's what it was eventually.
Things are getting primal over at Clemson. Yeah, that planted the seed. She was like, I'm done. Once she heard you shriek at the start of that fight, she was like, this is my guy. Yeah, because that's how I picture any fight starts with like a shriek, like ah.
Dave A. Snyder saying you don't have a girl. You caught me, man. It's all been a big farce. I'm eternally single.
Hey, what are you talking? She goes to school in Canada. You wouldn't know her.
You wouldn't know her. She's from out of town. She's from out of town. You wouldn't know.
She was literally just here last weekend.
Yeah, but she's not here whenever you're coming next.
And Hal wants to know, do you still have your singlet somewhere and you do not want to see me in it? It is not a pretty look. I wrestled in a much different weight class than where I am now. It is not pretty over there. Guys, I think we keep rolling with some of this Family Feud right now. We got a couple more rounds of this that we can play. You guys ready for round 3?
I'm so ready.
Let's get it going. Here is your next prompt. Remember, say your name whenever you want to buzz in. We've got the most used hashtags by Nando on Twitter. What are Nando's most used hashtags on Twitter?
What? I feel like he barely tweets.
J.O.
Well,
tricked you.
What are you going with?
Is it me or Coop said my name? That seems like he should go.
I tagged you in. I pulled the Williams brother tag in, which is actually allowed. So you're in now. It's your guess.
Judge?
Take a guess, JL.
Yes. Oh. Okay,
he's just making up the rules.
Okay, Dad. Just take a guess, yeah.
Someone's got a guess.
Let's go with hashtag boss.
Hashtag boss.
Feels like Nando's back there in like the 2010 era.
It is not boss, but I love that guess. I love the idea of Nando just hashtag boss and everything.
Well, yeah.
Coop, you got a guess of what's on here?
Is it hashtag Winnie the Pooper?
It is not hashtag Winnie the Pooper. And when Keith was texting me about this one, he's like, someone's going to guess Winnie the Pooper, and it's not on there. There is no Winnie the Pooper.
It had to be.
This is going to be something random. It's going to be like AMC or some stupid.
This one's back open if someone wants to take another shot.
Wall Street bets.
Games.
Hashtag girl boss. Hashtag girl dad.
Hashtag girl dad.
Hashtag Doge.
Let's go with I don't know. Hashtag collectibles.
Hashtag collectibles is not on
still
there.
Doing like hashtag Team Jacob. He's still doing like Twilight tweets.
Hashtag Team Buffy.
Is that on there?
No, hashtag Team Jacob is not on there. Hashtag the Joker was the real.
Did
victim.
I get double?
Scott Fish got this one. Hashtag Hitler did nothing wrong. What is
Nando going too far?
Hashtag NFL, hashtag fantasy. Are either of those on there?
Hashtag New York.
Hashtag NFL is number 1 on the list. It is his most used hashtag. You got hashtag NFL on there.
Oh, I like that, dude. Okay. All right.
So Coop, you want to play? You said NFL. We'll let you keep playing.
I opened. I couldn't have cheated any more though. I opened the chat and stole an answer from the chat. Like you're gonna
Coop, I'm gonna be honest. You're gonna lose anyways, so it's okay if you want to just keep getting some.
Okay, well I'll just keep stealing Scott Fish's answers then. Let me open the chat back up. Did you say anything else? All right, yeah. How about hashtag SFB12?
Hashtag SFB12 is not in there. No SFB12. You did say hashtag fantasy. I'm going to give that one to you as well. It was hashtag fantasy football. Scott Fish, hashtag fantasy football.
Scott Fish is
selling out straight up SEO.
Scott should have just called in and played. Sounds like he's like
Joe. You got some, you guys can free guess now since no one got it on either of the first 6 guesses. Joe, you got any guesses?
Hashtag band kickers.
Probably something lame like hashtag baseball.
Hashtag baseball.
MLB is this number 2 most used hashtag. Scott in here wants to know, Nando and I are now beefing. Any tips? You got any tips for beef with Nando? Number one, anytime anyone asks you a difficult question, make sure to redirect them to his stream. It's Coop's move. It's a great one. So you just load up their show with difficult questions. Jail, if you're beefing with Nando, what's the first thing you do?
I'm signing up for like 15 Bass Pro newsletters. Would be the first thing I do. Step 2 would be to disparage him on all of his tweets. Go on their show, the tweets, just go on there and just annoy the absolute hell out of him.
No matter what he says, like just pull up the opposite stats and be like, not quite. You know, but don't go directly against him. Just be like, I like what you're saying here, and then just absolutely drop a stat that destroys everything he was trying to say. That's the best way to be.
I want to go a little subtler. I think you put out a rankings list on Twitter. Don't tag them in it, of your favorite garbage pail kids.
Then you F his wife.
You put Winnie the Pooper at like 8, and then you F his wife. Yeah. So first you put Winnie the Pooper down at 8 so that it's on there, but it's offensive. It's nowhere near the top. You weren't even considering it in top contention. And then you disrespect him and his family. And then that's how you beef with Nando Defino right there.
Yeah.
We had some good guesses in the chat. We had who cut your hair? What's that smell? Winnie the Pooh.
Cut your hair.
Hashtag FYF stinks. Hashtag hogs. Hashtag Coop.
Dude,
and,
that'd be wild. If one of his most used hashtags was hashtag hogs or hashtag Coop.
Hogs, dude. I wonder.
Just hashtag Coop. There's no, he's not even trying to really.
Hashtag, but it's got all the O's. Imagine it's like Coop. Like it's like cursing your name. Every time a tight end does well, he's just cursing Coop on Twitter.
Hashtag, when you search hashtag hogs, it's all Razorbacks pictures, but then there's one picture of actually like a bunch of feral pigs that has one like. I'm gonna like it right now. It's 2
Hog Twitter.
Now. Hog Twitter kind of popping this morning. He says, just a picture of a bunch of hogs, lots of porks hanging out. 100 emoji, 100 emoji, pig emoji, pig emoji. Pork, pigs, hogs hunting outdoor.
Send.
Then this account tagged himself in the account. Katie Waterwoods 1.
I love watching how some people use Twitter. Like it's wild how people use.
The other like on the tweet is also himself, his own account. He liked
If you're not going to support himself, who's going to?
I would have 2 likes.
You got to be your own biggest fan. Be your own biggest pig.
I'm going to start liking all of my own tweets going forward. I'm going to just hit that like button every single time. I got no shame. And you know what? I do like most of my tweets, not all of them.
We are live.
Like, give it that like. Keith in here with hashtag Corey Parsons, will you be my friend? Yeah, I think he uses that one quite a bit. He's still just begging for it right there.
Spell his name wrong too, just for the ultimate disrespect.
You know, there's gonna be no points awarded on that one.
What? Scott Fish got a bunch of points.
You're right. Scott Fish gets 2 points for that one. So the score is now JL with 6, Scott Fish with 2. And Coop with 0 points, which I believe JL is going to make you the winner of this matchup. How does it feel?
Coop. That's how it feels.
JL, you nasty boy.
You nasty boy. We might have time for one more, but I think we're about to have our friend Teresa Walker on the air with us. Teresa Walker is a Tennessee Titans beat reporter. She's at the Associated Press, pro football writer, covers the Tennessee Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. She's a 4-time NSMA Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year and the 2020 TSWA Hall of Fame. So let's welcome Teresa Walker up on the stage, talk a little bit of Tennessee Titans this morning. Teresa, can you hear us?
Well, I can. Can you hear me? And can you see me? Technology has not been our friend this morning.
That's crazy. It is. Your stream, you sound crisp and it looks great. So whatever you guys did, you figured it out.
You figured it out. We're so glad to have you on.
Well, my pleasure to join you. I've got somebody standing on the roof, with some aluminum foil, trying to make sure that the Wi-Fi signal works.
It's dedication.
Hollering down.
The funny years. Yeah.
I love that, dude.
It's Keith, isn't it? It's our producer. He's on your roof, standing up there with tinfoil. Right? God, he'll do anything for the show.
Better
we give
now.
him so much crap, but
he's a guy. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you putting in the effort.
Absolutely. I see someone in the chat already saying Buffalo needs your running back, calling for Derrick Henry over to the Buffalo Bills. That's the first comment we get about the Titans in here. But man, Derrick Henry's a monster, isn't he? Every year he just looks like he's breaking the mold. He has shattered my expectations year in, year out. It's got to be fun having a player like that on your team.
Well, here's the thing. Think about last year. He was leading the league in rushing when he broke his right foot, and he still finished 9th in the league despite missing the final 9 games of the season. And if he had not broken the foot, he was on path to join Emmitt Smith since the 90s as the first guy to lead the league 3 straight seasons. So, and now he's, yes, they've had the bye week, but he's put together back-to-back 100-yard games. And if not for penalties and a couple of others, guys, he'd be a little bit higher up the standings in rushing as we speak.
Yeah, I'll tell you, with Derrick Henry, I've said it before in the show, whenever I'm watching Red Zone, there's always that moment where Derrick Henry first comes on my screen and my brain just goes, what is that thing? Like, it's just like, when he first gets that run, you're like, oh my God, this guy is he's just built completely different than every other player out there, right? Like, he is, in my opinion, the most fun to watch. Derrick Henry is just an absolute animal.
Oh, well, here's the thing. The first time he showed up on the field, he really does look like he should be over with the linebackers, right? I mean, he's 6'3", 247. I covered Eddie George, who was also 6'3", but Derrick just looks bigger. Derrick is bigger through the upper body. Now, granted, he had a broken foot a few months ago, so that means you're working more up on the upper body. We've seen the videos of him using the strap, doing the pull-ups and things like that with the chain around the neck. I mean, he does the most insane workouts that a trainer can imagine. So, I'm curious to see what he ends up doing this year because it feels like, guys, he's just now getting into rhythm.
Yeah, and the best part about watching him is he's so big, and then you just see him outrunning guys on the field. People can't catch him, and it doesn't look like he's moving fast.
Ballerina,
like everyone else
ballerina.
is like slow motion moving behind him as he just takes off down the field. Like it's absolutely absurd to watch. We had a question.
Derrick Henry, from weeks 3 to 6, he's running back 4. Just in sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side here.
Impressive.
Yeah, super impressive.
What was the question, Simon?
We had a question from.
I was gonna say he's running back 3 from weeks 3 to 6. Our fantasy points, pretty wild.
And they were on bye week last week.
Turning it on.
Yeah.
Tommy in here wanted to know, with Burks on IR, who's the wide receiver 2 there? So I think a lot of people are excited about this rookie Treylon Burks. I know I was, but they got to make other plans there. Who's the second wide receiver on this team now?
Well, Nick Westbrook-Akine, he's a guy who undrafted out of Indiana, and he knows every position on the field, and Ryan Tannehill has confidence in him. I mean, against the Washington Commanders, when they needed a big pickup, that's who he went to for a throw. Robert Woods, the guy they picked up in trade from the Rams, he is their number 1 receiver, but it's definitely Westbrook-Akine. And don't sleep on Kyle Phillips. For a kid who was a 5th round pick, he is a guy who's now healthy. He had a shoulder that kind of slowed him down a couple games, but he now looks healthy, and I'm expecting him to get a lot more attention as well from Ryan Tannehill.
Love it. Yeah, Kyle Phillips, he's got a bit of a shoulder going on, right? Otherwise, he'd probably be playing a little more snaps, you think, or is it just because he's a rookie that they're limiting him a little bit?
It was definitely the shoulder. If you remember the first 2 games, he, especially in Buffalo, he took a punt that he muffed. It went off the shoulder, the left shoulder. That was the shoulder that was bothering him. He was not on the injury report before the Washington game. So it looks like maybe, especially with a bye week, he should hopefully be past that. And let's put it this way. They love the precise route running. They've named him the professor already because he understands route concepts so well. And he worked his way quickly up into the rotation with Ryan Tannehill in that number 1 offense with how quickly he can get in and out of his routes and be where the quarterback's expecting him to be. So that's why I'm expecting him to have a decent year this year as a rookie.
I love that. That's incredibly important for rookies, because we just talked about it yesterday. Tavon Austin, the complete opposite, where he came out and said the playbook looked like Spanish to me as a rookie. So the fact that this kid can come out and figure it out that quickly, that's huge for these guys, because I mean, these can be complicated offenses. Now I want to ask you about I cover tight ends a lot with my fantasy research. Austin Hooper, he's kind of had a slow start, splitting snaps a lot. I know they like Jeff Swaim as a blocker, right? So, but Swaim's not really running a lot of routes. Do you think Hooper gets more involved as we move forward, or do you think this is kind of the way they like it? You got the one blocking tight end, the one pass catching tight end, and that's how it's going to be. What are your thoughts on that so far through 5 games?
I'll admit, I thought Hooper would be far more involved based on, how quickly he and Tannehill seemed to connect during the offseason program and training camp. So I'm not sure what's happened here in the last, once the season's gone, it's almost like he's been on a milk carton at times. So, and when we asked about it, Jeff Swaim, we were told he's our number one blocking tight end. Well, the problem is when you declare that, guess what? When Jeff Swaim's out on the end of the line, it's pretty obvious that you're tipping your hand that it's a running play most of the time. So very curious to see what kind of self-scouting they did and how they try to maybe cover that up a little bit more and disguise that.
I was just thinking the same thing doing my research, because not only is it the run plays, but he's blocking on a good chunk of his pass plays, Jeff Swaim. This past week, 81% of the plays he was in the game, he was blocking. So if you and I are sitting here saying they're tipping their hands, defenses are probably starting to say that too, right? That this guy's, you don't have to account for him.
Well, and here's part of the problem is they're on their second left tackle. Dennis Daly is starting because Taylor Lewan is on IR and out for the rest of the year. And, especially against Washington, Montez Sweat just was bull rushing Dennis Daly and eating Ryan Tannehill's lunch. So they kind of had to chip in and give him some help. So one thing Mike Vrabel said Monday was that they're kind of looking at things, and I'm really curious to see what that ends up looking like because, let's face it, you get to a certain part of the season and it's getting late early when it comes to certain positions. When you're trying to find maybe a third left tackle, sometimes you gotta make some chicken salad out of Dennis Daly. And, they acquired him right before the season from Carolina to do what he's doing and be that backup. Unfortunately, they're having to give him some help at times.
Jeez.
We had another question here that I wanted to bring up. Tennessee's currently leading that division, sitting at 3-2. Though it is a close division, it's competitive. Colts sitting there at 3-2-1. Jaguars knocking on the door at 2-4. Do you think anyone else has a chance of winning this division, or do you think the Titans are the best team here? In my mind, it's the Titans coming home with this.
When I picked the AFC South, I picked the Titans to win. I mean, they're the two-time defending champ. It's something that winning 3 straight division titles that this franchise has not done since the early days of the AFL in the 60s. So it's been a while, but they have Derrick Henry, they have Ryan Tannehill, and Kevin Byard and Jeffrey Simmons. Those 4 pieces are just, the pieces that they have built this team around. Now, you look at, I know that the 6th different quarterback in Indy, everyone was excited about Matt Ryan, and yay, they finally beat Jacksonville. So good for them. And yet they come to Nashville on Sunday, nipping at the Titans' heels. That said, the Titans have been road warriors. That after they play Sunday, they have 2 more road games, including a Sunday nighter at Kansas City. I'm still taking the Titans to win this division for the biggest reason, their coach, Mike Vrabel. Even though they've played 20 different starters on defense through 5 games, which is kind of ridiculous. They used 26 all of last year when they used an NFL record 91 different players. Him and that coaching staff have proven that they can get somebody in on a Wednesday, have them caught up in playing, starting if necessary, and winning games on Sunday. So that's he's the reigning AP NFL Coach of the Year. I'm going to stick with him, Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill as the keys to being the winners yet again in this division.
Yeah, you mentioned Jeffrey Simmons. We had people in the chat talking about Jameson Williams earlier, asking if he can come back. Jeffrey Simmons tore his ACL even later in the offseason before the draft, and the Titans still took him towards the end of the first round. And my goodness, what a good pick that's turned out to be for you guys. That's a ball player right there.
Jeffrey Simmons was on the field by mid-October his rookie year after tearing an ACL in February during training camp. Now, here's the thing, though. He's a guy that works in the trenches. It's not, his field is maybe 5 to 10 yards that he's chasing somebody. Jameson Williams, you're hoping that he's running down the field with the ball in his hands. So that's the challenge when you're going from a defensive tackle to a wide receiver. That said, Jeffrey Simmons, let's just put it this way. I'm expecting he was tied with Chris Jones last year for votes for the interior lineman on the All-Pro team. I'm expecting Jeffrey Simmons to have a chance to work his way up higher in that conversation, closer to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, this year so far, per Pro Football Focus, Jeffrey Simmons ranked 5th overall for defensive interior, 3rd overall for pass rush for the defensive interior. This guy is a monster, and he's played one less game than most of those guys because they already had their bye week. A lot of those stats can be cumulative, so he's absolutely in that conversation. He has been a monster.
Teresa, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come up here and hang out with us this morning, talking some Tennessee Titans. And before we go, just wanted to give a big congrats. I know you're a Tennessee sports fan on the Tennessee win over Alabama. Long time coming, but I know that was a huge win for you Tennessee sports fans. So big congrats on that. Guys, if you are not following our friend Teresa, make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Teresa M. Walker. And you can find her work on the Associated Press covering the Titans and other Tennessee sports teams. Teresa, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, and sorry about the late delay with the tech issues, but thanks for happy to join you guys. We'll try to do this again if you ask.
Absolutely. All good. It was Keith's fault. We blame Keith anyway, so you're good.
Thank
Talk to you later, Teresa.
We'll fire him.
Yeah, she has a wealth of knowledge.
Guys, we are out of we are out of here for today, though. We are out of time. We'll be back tomorrow from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. So looking forward to seeing you then. Until tomorrow, though, goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.